Okay. Hey, everybody. How's it going? All right, we live now. We're live now. There we go. Hey, Jay. Hey, Madness. Hey, Rick. Hey, TFCS. Hey, Texas Motherbird. How y'all doing? Hey, Glowflow. All righty. Well, we got some people in here to start right off. See, now it matters whenever I have that going. Oh, shoot. I should have uploaded this video. Oopsie. Publish. Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes labeled the big ol' bad word there. We'll see how that turns out. Let's see. Is the candy video here doing good? It's okay. It's a Saturday. Kind of stinks that what I view as the more hard-hitting videos really don't hit that hard on the weekends, unfortunately. They hit pretty good on Sundays. Saturday's just always just like a dead day. But the stream will... Man, you know what? We already got so many people in here. That's crazy. Hey, Jenny. Hey, April. Hey, Morgan. Hey, White Swan. Hey, Nikki. Hey, Leanne. Hey, Veronica. Had to pause for live. Thank you for being here. Hey, Capasto. I don't know why I want to say the T first. Let's see. Hey, Sky. Let's see. Two-tier Starmer claimed that Tolkien works C.W. Lewis, C.S. Lewis. And 1984 is far-right propaganda. That's crazy. I'm not surprised. Hey, Misty. I am not surprised at all. It's why they're changing the movie, you know? Hey, Katie. Hey, Samurai. 17th like? Heck yeah. Hey, we got 71 people in here. Can we flip that 17 into a 71? Just flip it right around. Oh, 94 people in here. Let's see. Hey, Wolf. Hey, awesome. Good to see you for your first time on the live stream here, Wolf. Thank you. Observing Chaos, hello. And you guys are awesome. Y'all are just jumping right on in, huh? Heck yeah, maybe we could get 94 likes instantly. That would be awesome. Even on the TV, if you guys can figure out how to navigate the remote to the like button, should be able to... I think you just push up on the remote and it should just pop up in like the bottom right corner. For the likes. I think that's how it is on my TV. Everybody's TV is different, though, probably. But yeah, let's see here. What do we got going on? We got everything going on in the UK. I figured we could cover a variety of topics. We'll obviously be finishing this Nick Fuentes debate and Steven Crowder debate. Figured it's appropriate. Yeah. You hit the algorithm? I guess I did. I don't know. I've hit it I've hit it smidgenly. You know what I mean? Hey, John. New fan, first live. Heck yeah, man. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Y'all are seriously amazing. Y'all are always so kind. I never see a negative comment from any of you guys. Oops. This is what Nick Fuentes normally does. Wait. Nope. Kinda. That's what I'm looking for. Kind of. None of that, though. He doesn't do that. That's not very common. I like Steven Crowder. He makes bigger movements. That one's great. Steven Crowder here. Okay, I'll stop playing with this. You can just make all sorts of funny things. No matter what you do, just by going back and forth. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Nom. Yeah. All right. He's a DJ. Okay, anyway, y'all ready to have some fun? Yeah, just saw a clip of Nick Shirley at the UK rally. Heck yeah, we'll have to check into that, Katie. Yeah, I should check his page. Nikki, hey man. Oh, okay. Civic Noble, Steve is too easy on Nick. Nick lies through the teeth depending on who he is in front of. I don't know if he was polite to him, but Steven Crowder destroyed him pretty well in this debate so far. We're only a little bit over halfway through it. But man, I think Steven Crowder did a pretty crazy good job in this first half. I don't know. Maybe he goes softer on Nick Fuentes through the second half, though. It's definitely possible. I haven't seen it all, and you could be right on that. We'll definitely have to look. That's the fun part, though. Oh, people are working on the fence next door, and I thought someone was knocking on my window. I was like, "Why are they knocking on the window? I'm on the second floor." You know? Let's see. Been watching you the past couple days. You make me laugh so much. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. Jazz hands, heck yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. Let's see. Shoot. Maybe I should cover this Chud the bodybuilder. Yeah, have y'all looked into the Chud the bodybuilder guy? Y'all know about that story? Is that something that interests you guys? You know, I need to question you all on what you all want, because I have a lot of videos, like, as of late, I'm getting the hang of it. It's obvious to me that the Tucker Carlson thing, how's the UK doing? UK March. It's way below average. It's way below average on video. I also released videos really late today. I've been busy all day. It is, oof. I wish the weeks would slow down drastically. But with kids at with the kids at the age they are currently, it is hard to get things to slow down. It really is. I'm gonna have to make some massive changes to my schedule. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do something drastic. But anyway, the Tucker Carlson. That one I expected to do a lot better, but I think the language kept it from getting shown to you guys. The Tucker Carlson's brother did well. Candace Owens did well, of course, as Candace Owens always does well. The Tony Hinchcliffe stuff did better than I thought it would. I didn't think I would get a Candace Owens video to 20,000 subscribers, or 20,000 subscribers, 20,000 views. That's crazy, you know? All right. Obviously, that's the one. Let's see here. The JD Vance stuff didn't do well. Steven Crowder and Nick Fuentes video did well, though. You know, I mean, so I'm just kind of looking through. Yeah. The Nick Shirley stuff does decent. I don't know. There's definitely some stuff, but I'm gonna prod y'all. Let's see here. We got a super chat here. Holy cow. A bunch of smiley faces from Polly Puree. Thank you so much for that. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you, guys. Alrighty. What do y'all want to look at today first? Do y'all want to start with the Steven Crowder stuff, or do y'all want to look at the protest first? What do you guys want to do here? Let's see. Because we have this. Oh, this is activist march. Never mind. Activists march over Selma Bridge to protest Supreme Court voting rights ruling. Yeah, crazy how that works, huh? They claim that the Supreme Court is just so good until they rule against them. And then all of a sudden they're bad. Look at how small this... Wow. Y'all really had to thin out this line in order to make it look bigger than what it is. Let's see. Major breaking. They are marching across Edmund Pettus Bridge again. 61 years after Bloody Sunday. The same bridge, the same fight. What do you mean the same fight? Gerrymandering is... They fought for gerrymandering? Sure. Yeah, no, this is ridiculous. The South will not be silenced. Today's march across Edmund Pettus Bridge is a reminder that voting rights were paid for in blood. And now those same rights are under attack again. Nobody stopped your voting rights? What? This is insane. This is a massive cope from the Democrats. Look at this. Jim McGovern. Oh, man. Yeah. Watch the Democrats cry that they can't commit fraud anymore. Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sad for them. Sucks for you. Enjoy. Yeah, it sucks whenever, you know. Oh, God, it's Akilah Hughes. What is she doing? Is she not even relevant anymore? Wow. Wow, that's crazy, right? Joseph Dawson, this is just not what American people wanted. Trump won all 7 of the swing states. Now gas is $4.53 a gallon. Beef is 20% higher. He's at 12% independence. Trump literally said at the beginning of his, it's not going to be devastating in the next election. Trump literally said at the very beginning, right before he took office, that this was going to be a roller coaster and that we're going to have to hold on in order to fix this country. Like, I don't understand. Like, did you think Trump was just going to jump on in and be able to undo 4 years of brutal brutal lockdown damage in the matter of a few months? Surely not, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of silly. It's kind of silly to think that we were just going to be able to do that. Like, Trump gets in and everything's fixed instantly. Trump's been literally talking about, and here's the thing. This is what happened in the first term that people aren't paying attention to. Donald Trump had an agreement with Iran in his first term. Biden got rid of that agreement and put back the old Obama nuclear agreement. Trump then goes back to Iran and says, hey, we're going back to my agreement. Iran says no, and Trump says yes or else. And then Iran says, well, or else. So we bomb them. Then they come back to the table for 7 months, decide, actually, no, we want the Obama deal again. We bomb them again. And people are, for some reason, are just not wanting to accept that. It's crazy. We haven't put troops on the ground. We haven't done anything like that. It's really not that big of a deal, and people are literally going to be still crying that Trump messed up, literally here in the next month after gas prices go straight back down. Guaranteed. Guarantee it, you know. If he would have done so, it would be. Trump promised energy would be cut in half in 1 year. No, he didn't. He didn't say it would be in 1 year. He never made such a direct promise. He never said, I will have everything done exactly in 1 year. Promised no new wars. He also said that Iran cannot have a nuke for 47 years. So which one trumps what? You know? Promised to end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. Not one of those things have been done. How did you want Trump to stop the Ukraine war in 24 hours, though? He's been trying to stop the Ukraine war. He didn't even start the Ukraine war. That was Biden. That's not on his shoulders anyway. Unemployment is up and grocery prices are up. Why would unemployment be up? Of course, grocery prices are going to go up with some gas prices. That's going to happen no matter what. Just out of curiosity, how are we supposed to prevent the gas prices from going up? Were we supposed to just let Iran have Obama's deal? See, you didn't address what I said about that. Trump had a deal with Iran originally, right? Biden got rid of that deal. Trump wanted that deal back. Iran said no. So just out of curiosity, why were we not supposed to do that? Okay, it's higher. I get it. You're not addressing anything I'm saying, though, at all. Why not address what I said? Yeah, just address what I said real quick before we get started into this. Because I really don't have time to deal with this right now. I got other things I got to do here. Yeah, unemployment was way higher under Biden, exactly. Like, it's just so weird. Our economy's so much better right now than it ever was under Biden. And people are freaking out because, oh no, for a month, gas prices have been high. It's like, oh no, we should just go right back to the 4 years of Democrats where 4 years gas prices were high. We can't handle 1 month. Trump said at the beginning of the presidency, this was going to be a roller coaster. And now that you all got on the ride, you're crying to get off the ride. You shouldn't have got on it then. You should have just stuck with the Democrats and enjoyed their absolute disaster of an administration. See what I'm saying? Give Trump the chance. He's got 3 years left. If he bungles it at the end of the 3 years, I'll admit you were right. But why not give the guy the chance? Okay. Inflation wasn't just 2.7%. That's not how this works. Inflation was at 11%, plus every single percentage that it dropped or went up. It doesn't even matter what our inflation is at directly right now. That doesn't matter at all, because with tariff money, we can pay off a lot of debt. And then inflation's not going to matter. You see what I'm saying? So are you going to address what I said or not? Are you going to keep going over numbers, or are you going to just ignore what I said? Like, come on, dude. Joseph, I'm giving you one more opportunity to actually address what I said. Did he promise to shut down the border? Yes or no? Oh, that's a promise kept. Cool. Did he promise to deport illegals? Oh, yeah, good. That's a promise kept. Did he bring in more factories? Yes, he did. Is he tariffing the countries like he said he would? Yes, he did. He has kept way more promises. All right, Joseph, if you're not going to address what I say at all, you're not going to be allowed to be in here, man. He did do what he was promised. He's doing what he's promised right now. And he even told us it will be a roller coaster at the beginning of the year. Did he say that or not? I'm just going to show you. Oh my gosh, dude. Trump.
Hasn't the first year...
No, that's not it. Great guy. Why is this coming up? Okay, that's so stupid. Link me the speech where Trump said this term is going to be a roller coaster. There we go. Guy doesn't. This guy's just typing away instead of actually paying attention to the to the live stream. It's hilarious. I don't know. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. He's just here to argue his points and not listen at all. And that's what's funny about it. Oh, we're at a stalemate? Hey, I got a question. If I prove you wrong that we're not in a stalemate right now, will you take everything back? Joseph, will you take everything back if you know, if you say that? If that's true? If I prove you wrong here? This term is going to be a roller coaster. Let's see. Maybe you said ups and downs, and I just take it as ups and downs. Maybe I just assumed it was roller coaster. It was literally right whenever. Oh, well, I could. Trump second inauguration. It was here. There we go. I could probably find it in the transcript. Good Lord, 5 hours? Roller. Nope. Ups. Let's see. How did he phrase it? Tough. Maybe he's going to say tough times. That's a tough one, coming to the details of immigration hands. How did he word it? I need to figure out how he worded this. He said it was going to be up and down, but pain. He said we're going to have to go through some pain. Let's see. Checking him about his pain. Thought he used the word pain or hurt. We're going to hurt for a while. Let's see. Accommodate some of those who'd been hoping to. Or was it his final rally before the election? Meanwhile, that's, let's see. Bad. Maybe it was good and bad. Bad it's been for Americans over, bad either way. I just want to say where did he say this at? Oh, wait, I should probably read this. Trump has talked about how ups and downs. Well, there it is. Market fluctuations, tariffs causing short-term pain, or the stock market. Oh, yeah, short-term pain is what it was. Okay, I think that's what the case is. Short-term. Okay, it doesn't even have that here. Short, though? Shortly. Okay, Earth inspiring on admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, okay. Short break. Oh, this is a lot of the... Never mind, this isn't Trump speaking anyway. Entire world, short time from now, we're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. Oh, yeah, I didn't even realize he said that in his inauguration. Short amount of time we get done, needs to get done. Let's see here. Let's see. Short answer. Okay, so it wasn't during his inauguration at all. I should probably just read this. That would probably help. Causing short-term pain or stock market not being a straight line, especially in rallies, and addressed during his second term, and inflation, gas prices, and global events. But nothing matches the specific phrasing you quote about this term. I didn't mean for this to be here, the main focus. There are a couple of possibilities it might be confused with. His February 2026 State of the Union, longest on record, heavy on economy claims. Full video transcript coverage is here. I don't care. Tell me what it says. If you can give me more detail. Okay. Where did Trump mention that the economy will have its ups and downs and Americans will need to be patient? There we go. We'll do that. How about that, guys? I don't care that Joe Kent said Iran wasn't a threat. Joe Kent is also saying that Joe Kent leaked. He literally leaked information to Candace Owens that was classified. And then on top of that, he has been trying to signal that TPUSA had something to do with Charlie Kirk's murder with zero proof. I don't give a crap what that guy thinks. That's not how you handle the situation. You don't go there and make false accusations with zero proof. If Iran wasn't a threat, he should have showed us that Iran wasn't a threat. Iran absolutely was a threat, has been a threat, and has been our number one threat. And Donald Trump has said that since the 70s. Literally 70s. Okay, look at this. Donald Trump urged Americans to be patient with the economy in an April 30th, 2025 post on Truth Social in response to the first quarter GDP report showing the U.S. economy had shrank for the first time in 3 years. This came amid market volatility and criticism on his tariff policies, often called Liberation Day tariffs and all this other stuff, all this good stuff. Okay. Tariffs will soon start kicking in and companies are starting to move into the United States in record numbers. Our country will boom. Now, I got a question, though. Also, when it comes to Iran, I know it costs more. You are not listening, dude. This is unbelievable. I am so sorry that your stuff has literally increased in price for a month, dude. You are going to forget about it here in the next month as well when prices go back down. Now, I got a question. Did you answer my question on if you would apologize or not if we weren't in a stalemate? Let me see. Let's see. I want to see if you actually addressed that. Won't find a more loyal person than Joe Kent? Yeah, you're an idiot if you think that. I've been looking into Joe Kent for a while. Joe Kent is so full of crap, dude. He literally made false accusations. That's terrible to do. We're actually in a stalemate, then we'll come. Okay, so you have not addressed anything I said about the stalemate. I want to know right now, don't say, and do not make another message. I want a yes or no answer from you, Joseph. If I can show you right now that we are not in a stalemate with Iran, will you retract everything you have said? I want a yes or no. Very simple. He didn't break his promises. You can't even name any broken promises he's named. You can't name a single broken promise, dude. 47 years, Trump has said that Iran can't have a nuke. And you're ignoring that. You're ignoring that because you know if you acknowledge it, you would lose the argument. So you just have to ignore it and pretend like you didn't hear me say it. So here's the thing, guy. It's going to be a yes or no. You tell me yes or no if you will admit you were wrong if we're not in a stalemate with Iran. Very simple. I will wait for that. If anything else pops up, you're gone, man. I don't need an explanation. I need a yes or no. Just that simple, okay? And you messed up. I already know you've heard, Joseph. I know you have heard, but you're going to sit there and say sorry. Why are you mad at me for the obvious? And you're gone. Not mad at you, dude. You're just not paying attention. Okay? I'm frustrated that you're not listening. I've asked you a simple question multiple times, and you will not answer it. That tells me you're bad faith. I've answered your questions. You won't answer mine, so you don't get to speak anymore because you're not going to just essentially talk over me. So I'm not interested in this subject anymore, dude. Good job. It was a simple yes or no, and you decided to keep arguing prices. Now, I'm going to show you real quick how wrong you were, just because I'm going to rub your nose in this a little bit, okay? We're not in a stalemate at all. We're not even close to being in a stalemate now. You realize that, right? Iran says it's received U.S. signals on new talks to end the war, but a deadlock remains over enriched material, while Trump suggests a possible long pause on Iran's civil nuclear program if commitments are credible. So now we are literally on new talks. We're not in a stalemate. Now we're going to watch Iran mess this up again, probably, But I don't care. I genuinely don't care. If Iran's going to go around, they're going to screw up. They're going to lose their entire civilization, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. They've been warned several times. They know we are more powerful than them. They're either going to do what we tell them to do, or they're going to figure it out. And you're going to enjoy it too. You're going to sit back and you're going to watch it. And if you don't like it, I suggest you move to like China or something like that, man. Anyway, Civic Noble, $5, February 2nd, 2025. Will there be some pain? Yes, maybe. But we will make America great again, and it will all be worth the price that must be paid. Thank you so much for that, Civic Noble. That's the quote I was looking for. Do you remember what episode that was from? Not that it matters too much, but you know, nothing's really that much more frustrating than whenever I'm trying to talk to someone in chat and have a good faith talk. And then they're just like, I'm going to ignore what you say though. And I'm going to keep spamming the same stuff over and over again. And it's like, dude, like you could just answer my questions. And if you're not going to answer my questions at all, then you don't get to talk to me. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and just answer to one person and all their questions. And then when I ask a question, they're just going to be like, I'm not answering that. And it's like, then we're not having a discussion. You know, it's so silly. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Looking at the UK. Is there anything latest in the UK right now? Everyone hates the UK. It's a mystery. What is this guy? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, look at that. Everyone hates the UK now, huh? Look at the gnome here. Woo! That's a heck of a bio, dude. Like, why do you do this? What's the green heart stand for? I don't know what the green heart stands for there. Interesting. But man, this guy's got so many flags. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flags. Oh, and the dude's into shoegaze. Oh, of course. The least skilled music on the entire world. Shoegaze. And I don't get me wrong. It sounds cool. I'm not knocking it. But it is the least skilled music. Do you all know what shoegaze is? 1 in chat if you know what shoegaze is. 2 in chat if you do not. I just want to see how many people know. Let's see. For the UK, it's time to shut the channel completely to any boat crossings. Oh yeah, I agree. Is there anything crazy? Media? Any new media coming out? Here's something. Ooh, blast my eardrums. There we go. What's going on here? Honk, honk. Nice. Oh, Lori, normally for J-Wit Podcast Hack. Yeah, I'm glad to have you here. So, okay, so most of y'all don't know what shoegaze is. Okay. Shoegaze is like indie rock and roll. It's very softer. It's usually a lot softer music. Doesn't normally have vocals on it at all. And it's just a bunch of like effects on the guitar. Effect pedals. You would never be able to, in a million years, really. Oh, actually, you know what? I guess I could show you. Let's see. Royalty-free shoegaze. I wonder if anybody's made royalty-free. Shoegaze, no copyright here. Okay, this sounds good instantly. Not overly saturated effect pedals. Not bad. Actually, that doesn't sound like normal shoegaze. Heavy shoegaze. Okay, here we go. Free alternative rock, shoegaze type beat, turn to you prod. I don't know if this is... Let's see. This is a lot more normal. Deftones, heavy shoegaze? No. Hard shoegaze type beat. This is what I'm used to a lot more. Except still a lot of dry tone. Chorus. This isn't very shoegaze. The reason why they call it shoegaze is because you're staring at your feet, hitting effect pedals with your feet. Pre-chorus, chorus, verse. Let's do the verse. This does not sound like shoegaze to me. Where is the old shoegaze stuff? I haven't listened to shoegaze in like 10 years. Oh, this is a lot more recent, though. 6 months ago. Okay, here's 6 years ago. This is probably... found the repeating riff every single time I clicked. What? So this is what I normally hear. This intro is probably all that's in here. Usually it's stuff like that, like this boop, but it's all this moderation and stuff, and then all these effects normally come in. This doesn't seem to be doing that. A lot of it isn't. I'm guessing people got tired of that pretty quickly. Heavy effects. Let's see. Maybe this? I don't know. It's not as shoegazy as I remember it being. Maybe I'm wrong. Never mind. Maybe he's into cooler music than I thought. I thought I could find a good example of crazy effect shoegaze, but it doesn't sound like shoegaze whenever they're not really using very many effect pedals all at once. Anyway, yeah, I'm confusing the algorithms. Probably. I'm just... Oh, shoegaze. Okay, Cherish. I see what you did there. Hey, Obscure Moderator. Good to see you here, man. Wombat Mommy. Good to see you, too. Oh, yeah. Y'all are funny. Yeah, the shoegaze have a flag. Oh, did you all really think I meant, like, shoegaze as in, like, G-A-Y? Like you're gazing at your shoes. That's very, very funny. Okay. So we got this. This is just nothing. I don't care about this. Seth Rogen's having a baby fit about AI not being able to replace Hollywood. He's like, it's not going to replace Hollywood. I have so much skill. Absolute moron. I said it in the thumbnail. Wait. It said in the Oh. Did it really? Oh, that's kind of funny. Let's see here. All right, anything else crazy? Let's go to, before we get started with that video, let's go to, Bishop. Hey, stop chewing on that blanket. You got your ball. Where's your ball? Where's your ball at? Oh, it's, when you nose me like that, it's downstairs. I'll let him out and get that ball. Hi, Artie, your hillbilly fan from your hillbilly fan Pam from Kai. I wonder if Kai knows. No, I'm kidding. You're from Kentucky. You know what's funny? When every time I had to call Kai in my car, back in the day, whenever like that stuff just was not, how would I put it? It wasn't, the technology wasn't quite there, so I had to hit my phone. You know, my phone would be in my pocket, call through the Bluetooth system in my car. I always had to say, call Kentucky. It would not accept call Kai. And then, that's right, the stupid car would repeat back to me, calling Kai. It wouldn't even say Kentucky. It made me so irritated, because I kept going, call Kai, and it would just be like, that number is not found. That, I do not understand what you're saying. I was like, maybe it's short for Kentucky. And I was like, call Kentucky. And it was like, calling Kai. And I was like, you. I was like, no way. I was like, you absolute jerk. You're going to repeat back the proper name to me, but you won't let me say the proper name. I have to say Kentucky. I was like, that is crazy. Oh, it made me so upset for so long. I was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe it would go that far out of the way to just upset me. You know, it felt intentional. It felt personal at that point. But yeah, I don't know. It's good. Glad to hear you from Kentucky. I'm sorry you live so close to Candace, though. I hope there's enough room there for you with such a big, you know, personality. Okay, Pasto, you are correct. It is my time of the month. Nick Shirley, that's what I was thinking of. I've been buying time this whole time to remember his name. I'm not even kidding. I am not even kidding. Okay, here we go. Who's playing? London! I am so jealous of this JVM 410H. I want that so bad. I would love that. Ooh, I love the Fender Twin. Is this a twin reverb? Oh, I wish I could zoom in on that. Or is that a Fender bass? You can never tell. They always all look the same, but it's not a blackface. Oh, is it a blackface? Oh, no way that's a blackface. That's like a $12,000 amp if that's a blackface Fender amp. That's crazy. Oh, it's over. You guys can't see it. Over here in the corner. If that is what I think it is, that's like a $12,000 amp. That's the most expensive amp on that stage, 1,000,000%. If that's the case. let's see here. Man, they got such cool stuff. I am nerding out over this setup right now. I mean, I want to know what guitar he's got right here. That is probably a PRS. It looks kind of like a PRS. I wish I could see. Maybe we'll see it close up. Let's see a speech. 2-minute speech here.
USA! USA! USA!
Why did you get them to chant that? That's amazing. He just got the entire UK public here to start chanting USA instead of you. That's so funny. What a troll. That is absolutely amazing. Nick Shirley is so fun. That is the funniest thing I think I could have seen right here. That's absolutely incredible. Good on him. That's amazing. Oh, God. This is amazing. I'm already so happy with that we decided to look at this video.
USA! USA!
Today I've walked with some of you here, and as I was walking, one sign really crossed my mind. There was a sign today that said we did not vote for open borders, digital ID, two-tier policing, higher taxes, loss of free speech, pedophiles in politics, higher cost of living. Now your media will call you far right, and your prime minister will call you guys dangerous. But the ideas of freedom of speech.
You know what, Nikki? You know what? You are correct. You are absolutely correct. Let's see here. I think you are dead on accurate.
Are not dangerous, or the idea that you want to know who your neighbor is does not make you dangerous. It means that you have common sense. We live in a world where common sense is becoming somewhat abstract to have. A lot of people don't have it these days. In the United States, we let an entire state commit billions of dollars in fraud because we were afraid, our politicians were afraid of being called racist or Islamophobic for speaking out against the fraud.
I don't know that they were afraid of that. I think they have ulterior motives, but I mean, you know, I've heard the argument that they're just afraid. I don't know about that.
Here in the United Kingdom, you guys had young women be raped by gangs of men, and your politicians allowed it because they're afraid of being called a racist or Islamophobic. That does not make you a racist for speaking truth. No one should have to worry about where their tax dollars go. No one should have to worry if it gets spent into fraud.
That guy, what the heck was that guy about? Why did they zoom in on him?
Or not, because we should have the confidence in our politicians. We shouldn't have to worry that our daughters are having to be careful who they go around, or a young woman in Scotland who is 12 years old shouldn't have to walk with a hatchet at the playground. I've been coming here to the United Kingdom for some time now, and each and every single year these marches get bigger and bigger and bigger. I think it is time that your Prime Minister and that your government takes heed to your words and takes heed to the caution that you guys are giving them, because change is inevitable here inside of the United Kingdom, and it doesn't need to be done because
anytime there, Obscure.
Everyone should have the right to say what they want and have the freedom of speech. And may God bless you all, and thank you, Tommy Robinson. Thank you.
Man. You know, at first I thought whenever he posted pictures of him in the UK, I was like, oh God, he's going to do like fraud in the UK. I was like, those people will rip him to shreds. He goes into a no-go zone, you know? And then turns out it was for this. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I don't think we're ready to go through the fraud yet, man. Like, that's great and all. I'm all for it. But I think he would actually get hurt if he tried to do it there in the UK. And I'm glad that he decided not to, because once the UK, like, let them take over their government, get everything back into the way it was, you know what I mean? Have them fix their police and all that stuff, fix up their laws, and then go in there and see how much fraud was done. You know what I mean? That way you have at least some protection. Because if he goes in there and these people attack him, the government, if there's anything left of Nick Shirley after that, the government will then throw him in jail. That's what would happen. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Just saying. Let's see here. But, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this is great what's happened in the UK today. I really, really hope that they say something about it. Now we're going to check on our favorite little lady here. Candace Owens, who still has not said anything about the United Kingdom. Not a thing. Not a single word about this UK rally. Why is Candace not praising closing the borders? Why is she pro-open border now? Isn't this weird? Also, I wanted to show you guys this. Look, 4 hours ago. Dear Charlie. Who? Who is this guy? DC political reporter for Daily Mail. Oh, okay. Mail. I hope you are well. I have spoken to a donor who was at the event in Aspen. Who? And they have no recollection at all of what you have reported. I spoke to them again today in light of your article, and they reiterated this once more. No, you didn't. Just gonna write them off. If you're not gonna tell us who it is, no, didn't happen. Didn't happen at all. Anyway, they also said afterwards, following the MAME-filmed Aspen meeting that you reported on, that you had farted and it smelled very bad, and I don't like you and they don't like you. Nobody likes you. You smell bad. Everyone hates you. You're a bad reporter. I know. I talked to this guy. I promise. It wasn't my words. It was the guy from Aspen. One would say that you have a stinky Aspen or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a very good Trump mannerism guy, but it is fun to do his voice. There was a smaller private meeting with Charlie where the subject was raised again, and that there was no mention of the version you present. I knew Charlie Kirk well, and I know Candace well. I don't think you did. You probably know Candace well, though. This point of truth matters. It will affect Turning Point going forward and conservative politics more broadly. I don't think it will. It can affect the presidency and future presidencies. No. The logical and rational thing to do is simply release the raw video footage publicly. So, he has to release stuff, but you don't have to release stuff to back your claim. Okay. That's just great, isn't it? Hi, Charlie. May I ask why you wrote that you contacted me to no avail when this did not happen? Oh, man. If he drops receipts that he talked to Candace, that's going to absolutely destroy her. I hope he does. I'm going to follow this guy and make sure. We're going to see. Let's see here. Oh! Okay. To Mitchell Jackson. Okay. That's the guy that quit, apparently. I think he quit as well, right? Hi, Mitchell. I know Candace Owens has cited the 3 donors who attended the August 2025 Turning Point USA. Ooh. Candace Owens got checked. Definitely, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Bummer for you, huh? Sucks, Candace. So, this should have way more likes. Only 611 likes that he had reached out to Candace here, to her team. And 4,000 likes believing that he never, this is what happens. This is exactly what happens. You know? Also, why do they all have the Kamala haircut? Why? Why does Candace have the Kamala haircut? Why does her friend have the Kamala haircut? Pretty sure that, John Mappin's gonna have that haircut before too long. Like, he just looks like he's gonna do it. He has the face for it. He should do it. Let's see here. Miss Erica Kirk just told us the reason she went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. A dinner Charlie never attended was to confront the Daily Mail. She didn't just say that. That was a long time ago. What are you talking about? That's crazy. Huh. Dumb. Anyway. What else we got here? Oh, that's the wrong thing. Okay. Anything else she posted? They put this article behind a paywall because its contents are so absurd. You mean like what you do, Candace? You put half your stuff behind a paywall. You put a lot of stuff behind a paywall. You put all your conspiracy stuff behind a paywall. So crazy. Hypocrite. Yeah, and that's all. She hasn't mentioned anything about the rally today, though. She doesn't care about America. She just genuinely does not care about America at all. It's crazy, right? Anybody shocked about that? Okay. That Trisha Hope lady is annoying. Yeah, she's just a pet. She's just Candace's pet. She'll do anything Candace asks. It's dumb. Really dumb. No free will of her own. They're all begging for her 2 million audience, 2 million subscriber audience that, you know, bots like another 7 million for however many it is. 4 million bots probably that she has on her. Because, I mean, the views reflect that. The views definitely reflect her about having, you know, a bunch of bots. But, yeah, it is what it is. Someone needs to make an AI photo of Mappa with that haircut. He's so funny. We should get all of them together. Every single one of them. I'll do an AI photo with that. Have Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. Oh, you're lost, Samantha? What do you want me to explain? Sorry. All right, guys. Are y'all ready to finish up this Steven Crowder, Nick Fuentes debate? You guys ready to get through this? Tucker Carlson interviews Tommy Robinson. Is he going to do that? That'd be funny. That'd be a great debate right there. Let's see. Mappin said he spoke to Charlie post-mortem, and she's close to him. Yeah, I mean, we see where they're getting it from. They're summoning the Charlie Kirk. Mitchell is Candace or a guy? Oh, okay. Mitchell is, so this Mitchell dude was, let's see. Candace Owens, Mitchell Jackson. Here we go. Publicist. That's who he is. So, he's Candace Owens' publicist. Mitchell Jackson is a prominent, often controversial publicist and founder of BBC Communications, known for representing canceled or divisive figures, most notably right-wing podcaster Candace Owens, as of 2025-2026. He manages her PR, including her podcast, which he describes as daytime television for millennial moms. Oh, man. Yeah. So that's the guy you contact, essentially, if you want to, like, get on her show or do anything like that. You know what I mean? That's her middleman. That's her middleman there. And, said he tried to contact Candace. She said that never happened. And then, he showed receipts that indeed did happen. Contacted Mitchell. Mitchell! I love that, who is it that says that? That redneck guy. Dang it, Mitchell! It's really funny. No, you never hear anybody named Mitchell anymore. When was the last time you all heard the name Mitchell? It's very rare. Seems, anyway. Maybe I'm crazy. Anyway, guys, let's go ahead. We'll finish this up. And, yeah. We'll be fully caught up on everything. And then, unfortunately, no live stream for tomorrow. Because it's Sunday. And, the wife goes to work. I have to work. One of these days, though. One of these days. I'll be live streaming every day for like 6 hours a day. That's the plan.
You want to cut around the edges on immigration? Like, it's not going to meaningfully change the demographics of the country. You know, how many illegals are here? 40, 50 million? You want to say, well, we deported 1 million. It's like, okay, cool. Like, we're still in...
Yeah, but Mitch Snow sucks. That's not real. He changed his name. That's the thing. That's not his birth name. Is Mitch Snow actually his birth name? Yeah. Oh, and in all fairness, Mitch McConnell's so old. That's why I'm saying it's like rare these days to name someone Mitchell. You guys are naming old people. That doesn't count. I knew one dude. No, I knew 2 dudes in my school named Mitchell. And there was like a sea of every other middle name. You know what I mean? Was it? No, not Mitchell from Modern Family. It was like it was an old like Vine clip or something like that. I thought. This like redneck was spitting. He goes, "Dang it, Mitchell," or whatever. Like he was having this like feud with him. It's okay. I'm gonna have to find it now. Where was that? Dang it. So I think it was this, right? Where's this redneck guy? Oh, really? Okay. Redneck yells at Mitchell. No, that's not it. Where is this dude? Oh, here it is. This guy. This guy. Hold on.
I don't even know where to begin. I'm so pissed. All because my neighbor to the north told the homeowners association my boat was an eyesore. Well, so's your wife, Mitchell.
That's what it is. Well, so's your wife, Mitchell. It's such a silly video, but I love it. I don't know why. It makes me laugh. That part just gets me every single time. He called the HOA on me saying my boat was an eyesore. Well, so's your wife, Mitchell. I love it. It's so funny. It just, I don't know. It gets me pretty good. I'm a simple man. Literally, it's not hard to make me laugh. It's really not. Oh boy, what do you want? What do you want from me? What? What? What is it? All right, I guess let's get this started, huh? Actually, before I do, he's wanting a... hold on here. Hold on. There we go. Okay, let's get started here.
This immigrant nation. So.
Yeah, no, well, first off, I'm familiar with that New York Times article. They cited 500,000, and that's not including self-deportations, which is the vast majority of them. I get that you say, I don't count it. I don't count self-deportations. I don't believe in
arrests and removals. So
yeah,
500,000 is arrests and removals.
I don't believe in self-deportations. Okay. That's still very different from 10 to 20 million in the span of 3 years, which you guaranteed will get. Let's assume you don't believe the Democrats' clearly laid out plan of packing the courts, of undoing all of the decisions, of making Puerto Rico a state, of redistricting. Let's assume you don't believe any of that. Will we both agree, for sure, if Democrats attain power, another 10 to 20 million illegals in that term?
I'm not sure. I really have no idea. I think if
you're
anything,
a betting man, Nick.
Honestly, no. No, because you know what?
So they did it under Biden, but learned their lesson?
Ah, this is exactly where we left off. Good. Wow. I can't believe it. I actually had a pretty good pause game there. So, all right. This is exactly where we left off.
No, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
If you look at Davos this year, there was agreement, actually. I think Clinton said this in an interview sometime after this. I believe Hillary Clinton, that is. I believe Bill Gates said something to this effect. They said because of AI, we don't actually want the irregular migration anymore. Like, why did they need the illegal immigration in 21, 22, 23? Because there was a labor shortage after the pandemic ended. And so, yeah, I do think actually the tides have shifted. What's
I don't agree with that.
Wait, are you a pro Candace guy? Let's see here. Adam, have you? Do you like everything Candace has done?
Okay, well, I mean, that's what they say.
Here's the thing. I think, no, I understand. I don't agree with their framing.
Oh, okay.
Meaning there wasn't a labor shortage. And that's what's so distressing about the left, and this is why I can't vote for them. This is how sinister they are. They specifically hired and replaced, and you've talked about this, replaced Americans with third world labor. Native-born American jobs went down after the pandemic. Foreign-born jobs went up. It's directly flipped under Trump. So there wasn't a labor shortage. We would both have to agree the Democrats lied. They wanted cheap labor because ultimately they wanted votes. That's my only disagreement. I think they're just that sinister and the numbers bear it out. But please continue.
Well, I mean, strictly speaking, there was. It's just that there would be two ways to remedy that. I mean, if you had a real labor shortage, what was happening is that all these companies were just increasing their wages. And I remember you drive down the street and you'd see a window in McDonald's and it would say $25 an hour, stipend for tuition, blah, blah, blah.
I have never seen a McDonald's ever advertise for $25 an hour. What are you talking about?
You know, because they wanted to incentivize Americans to return to the labor force. And so, you know, how do you remedy the shortage? You could raise the wages or you could open up the borders. So in a sense, I suppose.
Okay, well, now he's defending open borders. That's cool.
We agree. Maybe it's just the semantics about, you know, what constitutes.
Or maybe not.
A shortage. But I would say that.
No, I don't think it's semantics. I think it's don't subsidize Americans and let wages go up as a product of the free. It's not complicated. It's a problem that they created on purpose so they could solve by replacing Americans with third world labor. I don't think it's an accident. You think it's an accident?
No, not that it's an accident. I just think it's just about how you approach the problem. They could have raised wages.
Do you believe that Democrats had a proactive approach to replacing Americans with third worlders in order to change the demographics and gain votes? Because I do.
I think yes, but, and this is what I think maybe you might miss as more loyal to the Republicans, is that the business interests which are Republican, play a profound role in opening up the borders. I mean, it's the 1990 Immigration Act, actually, which is what created all these programs, increased the amount of immigrants coming in, and that was lobbied for by the Chamber of Commerce under George Bush because the business interests wanted the labor. So I think there's a two-part thing where Democrats, you're right, they want the demographic change. They, refugees welcome, blah, blah, blah. But it's the Republicans in agriculture and hospitality on Wall Street. They want the cheap labor too, for economic reasons. So, you can't say
like the Marjorie Taylor Greens, right?
It's all Democrats and not Republicans.
Well, no, what I would say is I wouldn't say that. And I think we agree.
Okay.
It's all Democrats. I do believe that Democrats in a perfect world would replace you. I think that's why you're America First, right? They want to replace white, Christian, Anglo-Saxon Americans with anyone whose vote is easier to buy. Would we agree with that fundamental premise?
Totally.
Okay. And then I think some Republicans, people like Bush included, by the way, Reagan really screwed up when you're talking about immigration, as far as business interests, or this idea that, it'll sort itself out through the free market. The problem is there was so much interference that we now see there are corporate interests that superseded it. We see a very stark contrast between those Republicans and this Trump administration. That's what for the first time, there's been a stark.
Yeah, I think the real point to COVID, I genuinely think the lockdowns were to literally weaken the American workforce by a drastic amount, to give people a bunch of stay-at-home jobs. Like, hey, you could stay at work, you could work from home, you can do all this and that, and you could spend all your time with your family and you don't have to do anything productive. You know what I mean? And when that happened, that disincentivized, good Lord, that really disincentivized them from going back into the workforce. And that's just not how work works. You know what I mean? You have to work. That's what it is. And now I'm glad that we're out, we're finally away from most people being able to do a stay-at-home job, which I think is good for a lot of people. Too many people cannot handle a work-from-home type scenario.
Contrast. But I do think the primary problem is exactly what you've said in the past. The left absolutely wants to replace you with a demographic that is easier to manipulate, put on the public dole, grant citizenship, and gain votes. And they did it to the tune of 10 to 20 million. They did not fix the labor shortage. What happened is they created a labor shortage, whether it's rent forgiveness, student loan forgiveness, the subsidies, the COVID relief that was going out, knowing that Americans would go back into the workforce more slowly. Wages were going up, and instead they brought in massive, not only illegal immigrants, but the same reason you ran billboards, H-1Bs, that forever, for certainly their tenure, and would be forever if not reversed, suppress American wages. Those are issues for me. I know you said that immigration doesn't matter to you anymore, and I think you were being hyperbolic. But that is, to me, enough of a contrast when I understand the replacement of Americans, because we won't have an America anymore.
Well, to address that comment, I said that in the context of, I think that immigration is one of these issues that is always dangled in front of us out of reach. And Republicans have been playing this game for 40 years. And
exactly, MTX. And that's the thing. 18.4 million Americans. Thank you so much for that $2 super chat. 18.4 million Americans are available to do those jobs. You are correct. The thing about it is now we have to re-incentivize them. And because these corporations decided to use cheap labor, the only way to incentivize Americans is to pay out more. Thing about it is these corporations saved a lot of money by paying a lot less and hiring illegals. Well, now they're going to have to pay the price for it. Now they're going to have to pay people like $40 an hour to do crazy laborious jobs to incentivize people to come back. And you know what? Once they figure that out, then they'll start acting, things will be better again. That's the thing. They made their bed. They need to sleep in it. They shouldn't have kicked out Americans and brought in cheap labor. Now we're going to kick them out. And now Americans aren't going to want to go back to that job for their original price tag. They're going to want more money. And I think these corporations need to pay. Because they tried to save a buck, now they're going to have to spend a buck to keep themselves from closing down.
It's like you pointed out, even Reagan, we're going to give 3 million amnesty and then we're going to close the border. Doesn't happen. Same thing even with Trump. Trump said We're going to build the border wall. We're going to slow it down. And like, let's be honest, immigration got really bad in Trump's first term, right? Up through May, June 2019 until they implemented Remain in Mexico. And then in 2020, they shut it down because of the pandemic. But it's like, it was even bad under Trump 1. And then, let's talk about, like, for example.
Yeah, Hawaii's got a mess of its own there, Megan. I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. I don't know what the fix for Hawaii would be. I mean, it's such an insane touristic, place. And there's very, very, very little space in Hawaii. So it's like, oof, that's, I don't know how you fix that. I really don't. I need to look into that more, to be honest. Thank you for that comment, though. Let's see here. Someone else said something interesting, about Little Nicky, and I missed it. Shoot. Because that is a great movie, and I missed it. Little Nicky with Adam Sandler. My dad said, yeah, exactly. I love that. That movie's so good. So good. Classic right there. So many good people play in that movie, too. It's crazy. Let's see. MTX here for a $5 super chat says 6.1 million of them are actively looking for employment. Though we need more people imported, argument is leftist BS. I say this as an immigrant. Yeah, absolutely. You are correct. The problem is what it is so McDonald's raised their wages up to like 13 an hour, okay? But they were not hiring regular Americans at that wage because regular Americans expect raises, they expect to climb the corporate ladder and stuff like that. Those places, what they're actually hiring for are illegals. And then they're going to pay them under the table. That's usually what ends up happening. So what they need to do is we need to get rid of all the illegals, and then people need to hold out for the wages to go up. Because, like I said, these corporations need to pay a little bit for their illegal activity. That's what I think needs to happen. But we'll have to see for sure. We just gotta deport and all that stuff. And the deportations are happening. Nick Fuentes is leaving out the biggest obvious thing as to why deportation stopped, and that's because the government had a shutdown. And the Democrats did not want to fund DHS because they didn't want to fund ICE. So ICE had no funding, and these guys can't keep deporting and keep working when they have families to feed. They had to go and find other jobs temporarily until ICE opened back up. Now ICE is full-fledged back open as of 2 weeks ago? And then Fuentes is still complaining, well, they're not doing enough. Well, they just started back up. Give them a chance. These people do not want to give Trump a chance at all. You know what I mean? MTX says illegals or Spanish speakers, so rampant. Yeah, I mean, it's not just Spanish speakers, though. There's so many different, we had a real problem with Venezuelans. We had a real problem with a bunch of different Asian countries, Vietnamese, a lot of, and who was the one guy that was some sort of crazy serial killer type dude that was obsessed with women or something that just got deported last year, and he was Vietnamese or Cambodian or something? I mean, it's crazy, So we got way more than just, people from Mexico, that's for sure, Yeah. Thank you so much for those, MTX. Absolutely amazing, man. Thank you.
Example, the pandemic-induced labor shortage. Who shut down the economy? Trump. Who did Operation...
No, he did not. He shut it down for 2 weeks, and that was it. Then he reopened everything back up. Democrats continue to shut down. They did a bunch of forced shutdowns. Then when Biden got into office, he made everybody lose their job that didn't get the poke. Why are you leaving that out? You know how I know that? I was one of the guys fired from Google, the best job I ever had in my life. I was let go because of Biden's laws. That failed, but still, it's very, very crazy. Hey, Artie, Trump has proved he doesn't care about Americans. Are you paid by AIPAC? Nope, and Trump has not proved that. You got any evidence to back that claim? You could send me a link that Trump says that I don't care about Americans. But yeah, I don't receive any money from here other than super chats, ad revenue, and then my full-time job outside of this channel. That's the only places I receive any money. I just tell the truth here on the channel. It's that simple. MTX for a $2 super chat says, I meant Spanish bilingual requirement for jobs. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. My bad. I misunderstood. Yeah, those jobs are crazy. More people should probably learn another language and, just in general, take those jobs up because those are crazy good jobs.
Warp speed, Trump. Who let BLM wreck the cities? Trump. Who gave Venezuelans TPS in January?
Yeah, Cal, you're just wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Trump does care about it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done tariffs. He wouldn't have shut the border. He wouldn't have brought jobs to America. He wouldn't start selling oil out of the Gulf of America, which was a crazy pivotal business strategy right there. That opened up an entire new thing of business for America. And you should be if you're proud of America at all, if you're an America First guy, you should be very proud that we are now selling oil out of the Gulf of America. That is a crazy, crazy development that people are sleeping on. It's insulting that people are not actually praising that. I could tell you that.
January 2021, Trump. And how many of those 10, 20 million were from Venezuela?
No, and
maybe
this is
like
what you
4 or
do,
5
and it's just,
million.
and I know that you know. Look, because you're very smart. This is clever, but it's just not accurate. And I would say it's disingenuous to say, Trump,
parts
because
of those aren't
BLM
true.
started before Donald Trump. We both know that, and we also know that domestically. Hold on a second. Domestically, the president.
Yeah, okay, Cal, I get it. You're a leftist. He's a terrible president. Wah, wah, wah. Biden did so much better. You're right, man. Go vote Biden next time. Go vote Democrat with Fuentes and pretend like you're a right-wing guy. That's adorable.
President doesn't have the same broad authority. And I know you've talked about this. So, for example, whether you agree or disagree with the war in Iran, people saying, like, it's a war crime for any president to carry out a military action. Like, no, we both know that the president has much broader powers as it relates to issues of national security. That's also why he has much broader powers in dealing with H-1Bs coming in, or specifically policy as it relates to people entering the country. The president doesn't have these broad powers to guarantee funding for a wall, right? We know that. But the president does have, the broad powers when you say remain in Mexico. When was that reversed and who reversed it? Wherever he can.
Biden.
Exactly. Whenever he can. Like,
cool. Biden's on Trump in office. Trump is. That's cool. So you expected Trump to fix everything within 6 months and everything was just going to be good instantly? It took Trump 4 years, his first term, to get the economy rolling again. You realize that, right? Do you not remember anything about Trump's first term? I don't think you actually, I don't think you've ever voted for a Republican a day in your life, dude. You guys are whiny crybabies. Oh no, everything was good for Trump's first 6 months in his second term, but the last 6 months are, oh man, I'm so upset. He's only got 3 years left. I'm not going to give him a chance at all. Oh, wah, wah, wah. He's so bad. Yeah, was Biden better or not? Is Trump better or not? Come on, be honest, dude. Try actually being honest for a change in your life. Trump does one thing you don't like, and you just throw everything else out the window, man. Everything else out the window. It's such whiny crybaby garbage.
Like you said, wherever he can through executive order or presidential powers, he's used his most potent tool.
Cal, okay. Go glaze Biden and Obama and all those other guys, man. Seriously. Oh, you're glazing Trump. Why? Okay. Why are you ignoring his successes? Why has Trump not done one thing right, dude? For real?
And he's been gridlocked by the party you tell people to vote for. And some, not all, but too many Republicans. So my approach is back to steel manning. Yeah, I think you're better off, and historically it's irrefutable, you're better off working within the party that has a voting base that wants something done with immigration to hold them accountable, the primary process. We've actually affected that directly here. Brennan Herrera is going to win. That's just one example. Ken Paxton is. That's one example. Handing it over to Democrats historically guarantees a moderate Republican if you manage to come back for them. So I think we've already gone, you don't have the concretes. You're saying you vote Democrat, so the destruction is concrete, right? The losses are real. They will take place. The wins are hopeful and imaginary. That's my problem.
No, I see. When you say destruction and all this, let's be very clear. In 2026, if Democrats win, you're going to have a divided government. So I think actually the damage is going to be mitigated in the sense that you'll have a Republican Senate, most likely. You'll have Trump in the White House. The Democrats will have the House. And they'll just exercise their oversight power. So as far as destruction is concerned, I think it's relatively contained. And because, and maybe this is like a good clarifier, if it was 2028 and it's going to be, I don't want Democrats to run the table. I don't want a Democrat to be the president at all. I don't want Democrats to control Congress. I think that this is the punch in the face that Republicans need so that in 28 we can be more competitive. That's how I'm looking, because the damage, let's be honest, is contained.
I get that. The damage isn't fully contained. There's a lot of damage that they can do, and we can go through that. It's not fully contained. I think you're understating the risk. But it still does come to the unavoidable fact, if we just believe this logistically, right? And of course, I'm not going to vote Democrat. I think you also agree you're going to have a hurdle for a lot of people to vote against their conscience and vote Democrat, right? You know that's going to take a lot of convincing on your part. You still run into the brick wall that if that happens, you're going to get a moderate candidate historically. You're not going to get someone more right-wing, it's called the Republican moderate paradox, and it's all
Cal's starting to, he wants to take things out of context. What did he say that? Give the full quote, Cal. Come on. Anything to own the libs. Yeah, well, anything for you to defend the libs, I guess, man. I don't know. Why are you glazing the left so hard, man? Give the full quote.
Almost as inescapable as gravity. Now, if you had a plan like, but we're going to punch those donors in the face and have a ground game, awesome. I'm all ears. Please let me know. And let me know how you get this guy or gal.
I'm going to recommend kids never listen to you, Cal, because you clearly have no idea how economics work whatsoever. Like I said, you've completely ignored the fact that we are now selling directly our oil out of the Gulf of America. Are we doing that, yes or no? Cal, are we doing that, yes or no? Tell me what that does. Tell me what the tariffs also do for our economics. What is it whenever we export gasoline and oil? And what is it called whenever we have tariffs? What does that do for our economy? I think I know a lot more about the economy than you do.
I'm assuming it's not a gal. Please tell me it's not a gal. Elected in 2028. How do you get, let's go to that. Let's really distill it. Let's assume there's no difference between Republicans and Democrats, and they're so bad that it's exactly the same. You couldn't put any daylight between Biden and Donald Trump. Let's assume that I agree with all that. I don't, but for the sake of argument, how do you get this guy, please not gal, elected in 2028?
Well, like I said, I don't believe in this moderate Republican paradox that you're talking about. I think if Republicans lose the midterms, they're going to be weakened. Like, you can't argue that they're going to be stronger having lost the midterms than weaker. Vance and Rubio will be weaker
I'm not arguing
after
that.
the fact.
I'm not arguing that. And weaker Republicans look for a winnable candidate who they view as moderate. The donor class will do that, guaranteed. They will.
But
the donor class.
Okay, but the donor class is lining up behind Vance and Rubio.
Okay, so they still will. How do you deal with that? How do you get your guy elected in 2028?
And they will be weaker. I think we need a grassroots campaign in those early primary states in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada. And let's also just talk about the architecture of the race. It's going to start relatively early. We need somebody to announce, get up to that 1%, 2%, 3% threshold to get on the debate stage. And then we're going to need someone to get on the debate stage.
You are exactly right, Rocco. Telling people to vote Democrat is such, like, it is absolutely weak-minded and easy influence people. I mean, it's crazy, right? It's so funny, you know. You're more American than any of us. Okay, so hold on. Cal, I'm going to give you one more chance, man. I gave you a direct assignment here, man. It's pretty simple. What do you think selling oil out of the Gulf of America does for our economy? What do you think tariffs do for our economy? It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, dude. If you're going to ask me questions and come here and expect me to answer them, you're going to answer my questions. It's very, very easy, dude. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to make it to where only you're allowed to ask questions, and I'm not. So you tell me what that does for our economy. I'll give you one more chance, buddy.
And just kick ass. Go up there against Vance and Rubio and say what's going on. And then hopefully we're going to make a blitz in all 99 counties in Iowa, go to New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada. And if we have something viable, then you go on into the future. It's basically the Trump playbook. I mean, you can say, well, you don't have $1 billion.
MTX says for the $2 super chat, Fuentes needs to just find a man and settle down. Yeah, I agree. That's funny. Heck yeah, man. Thank you for that.
Dollars lined up for the general, or you don't have a plan here. But Trump did it. Trump did it in 2016. He had like a few guys, just started doing rallies, self-funded some money in the very beginning, went on the debate stage, and then it just was off to the races. And I think that we have to be open for something like that to happen.
Yeah, so
did they have a ground game? I don't believe they did.
A couple of things.
I don't really care what they're arguing about here.
First off, it sounds to me like you're talking about then at that point engaging in the primary process, right? You're saying,
yeah, yes.
So why haven't you taken part in any of these primary processes now?
Yeah.
I haven't really seen anybody that I like. I like Thomas Massey, but I think that I might hurt him more than help him. I like James Fishback in Florida. We wanted somebody to run against Vivek, but there wasn't a good candidate in Ohio.
Do you think he's going to win? Be honest.
I don't think his odds are great.
Okay, I know. That's a tough question. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's fine. But that's the thing. And I said this on my show the other night, or maybe I said it in private. I'm not sure actually. But
isn't it tough how that works with our lives? You're like, did I say that on air? Or did I say that?
Right. I was like, did I say this in a group chat? But like, the problem with the primary is, like, groypers and far-right people are not the majority. I was telling my fans this.
But they need to be for your plan to work in 2028.
No. No, they don't. Because here's the difference. If you're, like, let's say you're in Ohio. Okay, perfect example. If it's Vivek and another guy, you need the groyper guy to get 50% of the votes in Ohio. And groypers are all like young white men. Very engaged, very online, maybe punch disproportionately.
Bro, groypers have been around for 8 years. They're not young white men anymore. What are you talking about? They're just not. I guess Cal ran off after I gave him that last opportunity to answer that question. Hilarious how that works, huh? Every time I ask these guys a direct question that they have to actually face, they run right off. They scurry away. You know? That's crazy. Oh, now he says, let Nick take control of your channel. Well, guess what, buddy? I gave you one last opportunity. I told you had one more chance. And you kind of blew it, man. Oh, man, my stream. Hold on. Kind of blew it there, didn't you? You just don't like to answer. It's really, really, really sad that, like, I can ask a question. You'll ask me 10 million different questions, dude. And you expect me to answer every single one of them. And then he's like, oh, I'm not going to answer your question, though. Wah, I'm going to cry. I'm going to insult you. And then I'm going to say I'm more American than all of you guys. And wah. But I'm not going to answer your question about what gas and oil does. I mean, I'll be nice. I'll tell you what, man. Maybe you're just really slow. So go ahead. I'll give you one last chance. What do you think selling our oil out of the Gulf of America, and what do you think tariffs do for our economy? I'm feeling very generous today, man. Okay, and you're gone. You're a bot. You're a bot. You won't answer.
Outside their weight class, but it's a small contingent.
Bye.
So we're not going to get 50% of the Republicans in Ohio in a two-way race. But if it's a Democrat versus a Republican, let's say it's 50-50 neck and neck, if we could push it 1% or 3%, we can flip it. Now, the primary in 2028...
But how are you going to do it, though? Because this is my problem, because you're like, well, I don't want to endorse anyone because it's going to hurt them, and the groypers aren't big enough. Okay. But so that's why I haven't taken part in the primaries, and that's why you haven't enacted this plan. Now, you've told people to sit out. In some cases, implied vote Democrat or run billboards. So this is not new, right? You've done it 3 election cycles, something similar to this. And I understand what you're saying, by the way. I don't want my endorsement to hurt anyone. Groypers are not popular enough. But that will be different. You will endorse mount a ground game, and there will be enough of you in 2028 after Democrat seize control. How?
Well, here's the thing, okay? In Ohio, what we're doing is we're going to go for the Democrat, and we are going to endorse the Democrat. We're going to go all in. In 2028, I think there is going to be an appetite for...
The COVID architect Jew, just to be clear.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I think... Do you think that she's going to be worse than Vivek?
Yes.
Because I don't. I think she'll be worse in terms of governance, but I think that in terms of overall impact, it's far worse for us if Vivek wins. Because what it signals to the GOP is that, we'll vote for anything. We'll vote for an anchor baby who hates Americans, who's part of little tech. So, yeah, I'm willing to forfeit Ohio for 4 years if it means we send Vivek back to the kitchen.
Can I pause you for one thing? Just because...
Yeah.
Ohio is a different breed. Okay, Ohio is a rare bird.
Yeah, Ohio is definitely one of the most interesting places probably in the entire world, to be honest. What's a fun fact is for some reason the majority amount of serial killers seem to come from Ohio too. Isn't that weird? It's like Ted Bundy. Who else was it? Like, there's so many crazy serial killers that came from that state, and I don't know why. I don't know why it's Ohio. Maybe something's in the water. MTX for $2 says the groyper candidates keep losing, though. Exactly. They all just keep losing. It's crazy how that works. You know what I mean? Dang, I wish Cal would have just actually answered a question. Like, I don't understand it, why people come in here, think they can demand so much from me, and then I capitulate to them, and I'm like, okay, I'll answer your questions. Then I'm like, hey, answer a question of mine. They're just like, nope, not going to do that. And I'm like, well, you can just see your way out then, But yeah, Ohio's an interesting place for sure. It's one of the most beautiful places probably on the planet. I'm not even kidding. Like, Oh man, especially Ohio near the West Virginia border. It's crazy. That area is unbelievable. Like, just wild. So it makes me wonder, like, how in the world are so many serial killers coming out of that place? It doesn't make sense. Everyone should be happy there. It's a beautiful town. It's a beautiful state.
Because they had Kasich, for God's sakes. Ohio will vote for anybody. It's a weird frickin' place. I can't believe the most unlikable human being alive in Kasich, who thought he had a chance in the national. So let's just agree that Ohio is a bizarre place. Sure, their state legislature leans red, but you want to talk about feckless Rhino City. That is Ohio. It's bizarre. But yeah, I still do think that Vivek would be better than the COVID architect feminist who also
Fishbacks, Florida, I
is
believe.
Jewish for the Groyper people.
See, I mean, well, and I don't even mind. That's the thing. It's funny. Dan Bilzerian got on my case.
Wild.
She's like,
you're right. The most candidates come from Ohio, too. Most presidential candidates come from Ohio, too. It's so weird. Everything, Ohio is straight up, like, just a mystery. I don't understand it. I got family in Ohio, too, so it's like, it's just so, it's a crazy place. But it's a fun place, for sure. The wilderness out there is just gorgeous. It really is.
Jew, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, but there's more going on here than that.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
It's a bigger, yeah, and I know you and I maybe agree on that, but but the thing is, like, to me, Vivek, and maybe you'll cringe at this, you're not wrong. Vivek would be, like, arguably a more effective governor than a Democrat. However, if we accept him, does that not send a message to the GOP that...
So the Dentsi scrolls here. Yes, I actually was on, it was about a year or two ago. I was on, what's her name? Aiden Paladin. I was on Aiden Paladin's live show talking about how Nick Fuentes at the time, Nick Fuentes wasn't that popular either, was looking through his roommate's room with a black light to make sure he wasn't doing the nasty. That's just crazy, you know what I mean? Like, with a black light. That's a wild thing to do.
We're accepting this little tack because Vivek is involved with all these people. Went to Yale Law School.
You're in the West
Advanced.
Virginia mountains?
They're looking
Nice
at opening
switch.
up this
That's awesome.
Anduril factory in Ohio, making the push for these government contracts. Like, you're sending a message that the post-Trump GOP is going to be shaped by people like Vivek, which is decidedly, I mean, he's basically against everything that Trump ran on in 2016. Because Trump runs in 2016 saying the reason this country is dying is...
Yeah, Nick did endorse Vivek, didn't he? At one point. That's crazy. $2 from MTX here again. Man, thank you, man. Shutdowns didn't affect Nick. He doesn't go outside. That is correct. He absolutely, does not go out. Well, he went outside once. He pushed an old lady. We saw that. That was in 2024, though. It's been a while since he's been outside since then. Dude, this guy snitched on Dan Bilzerian. How did he know the feds pulled up on him on the other side of the planet without anyone else having heard about it? Yeah. I don't know if I'm familiar with that story. I'll have to look more into that. But yeah, thank you so much again, MTX.
Because the globalists sold us out on trade, immigration, foreign policy. Vivek is saying, no, this country's failing because you're lazy and you did too many sleepovers and you went to prom and you watched Saved by the Bell. And it's like you're blaming Americans for policy decisions.
Nick, you're talking to the wrong guy. You're talking to the wrong guy. You're talking to the guy who got into a shouting match with Vivek here in the studio over race, to be clear.
Right.
I am no fan of Vivek.
You want him to win.
No,
Do
I
you
don't.
not?
I would vote for him over the COVID architect who will destroy the state. But again, Ohio is very different.
Yeah. That's Nick's like, okay, you made my point. He's not going to vote for a Democrat that wants to shut everything down and import a bunch of illegals. Bringing in H-1Bs, much better. You know why? We have a paper trail. At a bare minimum, even if they're the exact same people, at least we're stamping these people, so if they do something, we can figure out who did it, right? That's at least a little bit better than illegals, I would say. I mean, at least a little bit. And I will always take a little bit over nothing. Because a nothing or a negative is going to impact my life way more. Just putting it out there. $5 sticker saying, good game here. Heck yeah, thank you so much. Desert Sunset. I don't know if I've seen you in here before, Desert Sunset. Thank you so much. I probably have, actually. Wait, that does kind of sound familiar. Thank you so much for being here. I think I did see you yesterday, actually, didn't I? Thank you so much for being in here. Vivek is more in line with my politics than anyone else. More than, how would I put it? Like, more than, like, Trump and J.D. Vance, or are you just saying, like, anyone else in Ohio?
than the rest of the country. But this isn't a primary strategy, right? You're not just talking about Ohio. You're talking about Democrats across the board like you have in 2020, 22, 24. And I'm still not getting that. Yeah, okay, Vivek bad. I would be, by the way, I would be hard-pressed to not leave it blank in Ohio. I'm precluded from voting for someone who's part of the party that will literally kill me. But right. I am with you. Did you ever see my argument with Vivek? I see he was like, well, why can't we talk about Americans and what we should? I said, I can tell you why you can say it and other people can't. He goes, what? I said, because you're brown. He goes, oh, that's such a cop-out. I said, no, it's not a cop-out. I'm telling you that if I'll say it, but I'll say anything, but other people say it, it'll be an accusation of white privilege. It's because you're brown, and you need to acknowledge it, and he got into a shouting match and got all indignant.
He got all butthurt by that. That's funny. That is hilarious, to be honest. I need to go back and watch that. Summer Duggan for $10 with cheering me on super sticker thing there. Thank you so much. I've never really seen these super stickers before, but that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for that. Y'all are unbelievably nice. You guys are so freaking nice. You saw Metallica concert, Columbus, Ohio, back in 2008. Still have the t-shirt? I do too. That was the Death Magnetic tour. I actually saw them on that exact same tour in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was my first concert ever. I was 14? No, I couldn't have been 14 in 2008. I was 16. I think I was 16. Yeah, and absolutely amazing. Oh, wait. Yes, I would have been 16, duh. Yeah, I was 16 years old. It was actually my birthday thing. Because Kirk Hammett, his birthday's November 18th. My birthday's November 17th. And we went there November 18th, and we got to see Cake Hammett, where they smushed a cake into his face for his birthday. So it was awesome. Yeah, it was a cool concert. They had the rotating coffins and all that, and it was a fun show, but I had to sit in the nosebleeds. But, man, I bet you had better seats than me, too. I hope that concert was a lot more enjoyable for you. Yeah, because I enjoyed it every bit being in the nosebleeds. So there was still that.
And I was like, screw this guy. And I haven't had him on since. So you're talking to the wrong guy if you think that I love Vivek. I am saying, however, if in a situation with a Vivek and an Amy, I always forget, Amy Acton. I always want to say Cantor. That's probably like just Semitic stereotype in my mind. Like, hey, Amy Cantor, that's a diner. At that point, I look at the platform. The platform of, still company. Increasing by hundreds of percent, concert. H-1Bs decreasing, new H-1Bs by 87%. There's a guardrail there considering the risk of voting Democrat and what they've done that can be worked within effectively. But we're not talking about just Ohio. You are talking about across the country, midterms, voting Democrat. So it still does come back. And I don't think that you begrudge me for asking for concretes because I know that you asked Bill Zarian from it. Now, to be fair, that wasn't fair. I don't know that Bill Zarian can give concretes on anything to anybody. But I do require them because I'm the guy who's like, how do we undo the Vivek? How do we undo the Mitt Romneys? Now, I thought we made some progress with people like Trump, with people like Brendan Herrera, with people like Ken Paxton, where I was like, this is some momentum, right? It's in the right direction. Power can corrupt. But I'm all ears. I need the concretes to vote Democrat, though.
You don't, though. You don't. Because I think the far greater risk.
And just vote Democrat and don't even think about it. Nick Fuentes' motto, 2028, 2026, I guess. Probably 2028 as well. Because more than likely when he's saying, a candidate will rise up, well, what happens if it doesn't rise up? Oh, vote Democrat then. That would be the answer.
Risk is that we get Vance and Rubio. I think that, to me, that's crazy. Unacceptable. I'm not going to go for that. J.D. Vance voted for Evan McMullin. Marco Rubio is Marco Rubio. If after 10 years, 12 years of Trumpism, that's what we get, I'm going somewhere else. Like, I can't vote in an election. Vietnam, Serbia. I'll go to a non-extradition country where they can't get me. Well, they can always get you, but maybe they can't ask to bring you back.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like, to me, those are unacceptable. So I want to hurt them as much as I can, burn the boats.
You're not hurting them, though, dude. They're all rich. Who are you hurting other than Americans? You think you're hurting Trump by voting midterms? Look, at the end of the day, when Trump is done with all this presidency, he gets to go back to Mar-a-Lago. He gets to go back to his mansion and enjoy the rest of his life. That's what happens. You're not hurting Trump by voting Democrat in the midterms. You're hurting Americans by voting Democrats in the midterms. That's what you're doing, and that's the problem with rich people sitting here talking about, we're really going to stick it to we're really going to stick it to him. You okay, boy? You okay? What do you look at me like that for? What's up? What's up, buddy? Huh? What is it? What? You okay? Did you get the rest of your bone? Get your bone. Go get your bone. Get your bone, dude. Okay. This silly dog.
And open up a space for someone else. And you're right, there's no concretes, but we have to allow for the possibility that will happen.
Yeah, I think in the face of allowing for a possibility when guaranteed we will have open borders, the courts will be packed and we lose our country. So in other words, on one hand, we guaranteed lose the country. There's no doubt about that. On the other hand, we see the incremental improvements. I think we agreed here. Let me go back to this. And I appreciate you taking the time, by the way.
Absolutely, yeah.
We agreed on the institutions. And I think that we would probably both agree that cultural institutions are probably more important than political ones long term. That's my view. Comparable, but in other words, they shouldn't be overlooked. How long did that take place? Like, how long did it?
Oh, yeah, you are dead on, Pure Madness. The Fed here, Fuentes, is West last. Like Candace, Hassan, Vosh, Qatar Tucker. You mean Tucker Qatarlson. Yeah, Trader Kelly, MTG, Joe. Yeah, exactly. And Destiny. I absolutely agree. And Cherish below that says that doggy is so big. Yeah, he's 100 pounds. He's a big old solid black German Shepherd. Well, mostly solid black. His paws are brown. And he's got a big old white bum. Just a big old white bum for some reason. Solid white bum. Very odd. And I mean under his tail, not actually like he's solid black everywhere else. But yeah, he's a good boy. He is 100% purebred good boy, though. That's for sure.
Take for the left to completely control academia, media, the entertainment industry. Like, you're talking about anywhere from 90 to big tech outside of when they saw the writing on the wall in the last election, right? We know these people are not conservatives.
Right.
I mean, I would say, okay, started in the 1930s, accelerated through the 60s. Meaning the encroachment, the seizing of institutions, the change from the left has been consistent. It's been incremental. It's been subversive.
Tucker.
And I bet you they're saying, thank God we didn't blow it all up.
Yeah, that's true.
Wouldn't the change, the revolution for the positive, even though it's accelerated at a much more rapid rate than that, wouldn't we need to accept that change is incremental as well? Because we bitch about their power over institutions, but don't seem to have the spine to play the long game and to fight the war of attrition.
I would be inclined to believe that. However, I think that, how long has it been, honestly?
So, believe it or not, this dog's dad has the same white bum there when his tail goes up, but it's more hilarious because it's in the perfect shape of Batman's bat symbol. Not even kidding. It is one of the funniest things. Every time we see him run out into the yard and he like runs up and his tail goes up or something, it's like, no, Batman. I don't know why. It's really weird, but it's very funny when you see it. Like, you wouldn't be able to stop laughing. It's just wild because it's like perfectly shaped, and I have no idea how that happened.
Oh, I mean, where do you want to start the timer? Is it when Trump won the election in 2016, or is it 2000, or is it 1990? I mean, where do you want to draw the line exactly? Because
I'm talking about the left being very unified. I think we agree with it. The left is far more unified, and the left will get in line. I mean, that's how you end up with a crazy broad like Kamala Harris without a primary. People are like, no, actually, we think she's great. They're unified and they make incremental progress. And by the way, that's a tenet of Marxism, subverting institutions. Yep. And conservatives are not. Conservatives are not. So let's go from the 60s, right? Goes back to the 30s, but McCarthy was right about a lot. Not everything. A few people lost a couple of commercial
You're right,
gigs.
MTX.
But
this is a game to Fuentes. He is not serious about this at all.
Yeah, they took over every institution by design, said this is going to be systematic. It's going to take a while. And people on the right go, I don't have everything at once. So let me work with those who seized power over all these institutions.
I just feel like we've tried it that way. I mean, so Trump is going to leave office and...
What do you mean we've tried it that way? It's been 1 year of Trump. It's been 4 years of Democrat rule over the United States right before this. What kind of drugs would Nick Fuentes have to be on to think that people are not paying attention to that? Seriously, do you think we just forgot about Biden literally ruling America with an iron fist, getting people fired, shipping out our jobs, destroying this country, locking it down? All of that was that's just fine. That's what we're supposed to do. This is so crazy. You're acting like we didn't just come off the heels of this.
2029 regardless. He came down the escalator in 15, so got elected in 16. Republicans win the Senate in 14. So it's like, let's say from Republicans winning the Senate in 14 until 2029, that's 15 years. Has anything gotten better in that time? Like, we're in a war with Iran.
Well, yeah, I would say that's where we go back to. But let's talk about institutions. Let's talk about culturally. Media. The fact that you and I are having this conversation, that's huge. This wouldn't happen just 4 or 5 years ago. Let's call it 6 years ago. Racially based admissions in college. That took a Supreme Court, by the way, a slow walk, boom, done. Also DEI in not only the federal government, but in any institutions that are subsidized federally.
Correct.
That's a big one, right? This lays the groundwork. The media now, legacy media, who controlled a lot of information, is irrelevant. And I will tell you my approach outside of just discussing yours. People will often ask me, hey, should conservatives do what the left did? Should people on the right, America First, do what the left did and try and go into jobs, for example, in media or in academia? And I've said, no. The point now is to continue to accelerate their descent into irrelevancy, because now there are ways to sidestep it. We need to accelerate the irrelevancy of a degree from an Ivy League school. So those institutions are no longer relevant. We need to accelerate the irrelevancy, for example, and we're already seeing it, but ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, we see it with you getting bigger numbers than whoever the hell, Brian Stelter, completely straight on CNN right now. It's a slow walk, and now these are rapid accelerations and overtaking cultural ground. That's why.
Oh, here we go. Adam's back. So here's the thing, right? Gas prices will be coming down. Gas prices have been up for like a month, and already you're done with it. Why didn't you have a problem with the 4 years of gas prices being up with Biden? Trump brought gas prices down, literally, big time, during his first term. What makes you think he can't do it again? Just out of curiosity. Why is it that you think that now that Trump has done this for 1 month out of his second term here, that the rest of the 3 years are going to be that way? Just kind of curious. And he also said no new wars. We're not in a war right now. We don't have troops on the ground. And this is going to be wrapped up. Once this is wrapped up and done, you're going to forget all about this. You're going to pretend like it never even happened. That's exactly what's going to happen. I like how everyone's like, oh, this is so bad. Here's the thing. Donald Trump, and let me say it again. During Donald Trump's first term, he had a nuclear deal with Iran. Biden screwed up that nuclear deal and went back to Obama's. Then Trump was like, we're getting back to our old nuclear deal. Iran said no. He said yes. Iran said no. He said yes, or I'll bomb you. And then they said no, and then we bombed them. So why exactly is that a problem for you? Did you want to stick with Biden's and Obama's nuclear deal? Was that a better option for you? Tell me exactly why that was a better option. I'd like to hear your argument on that.
Why you're as influential as you are. That's why we're able to have this conversation. It's not a small thing, but there does need to be some unity in a common enemy. And that's why I started this with, is it the left, those who hate America? Because those are undeniable big wins.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong about the left being the enemy. To me, it's just a question of who will fight them. And I want a better right. I think that the right is not really putting up a real fight with the left. I actually don't even know that there's a huge distinction between the right and the left. And I know you disagree with that and you think there's like a big difference, but I think that they've kind of been holding hands, walking us down the same path for a very long time, which is, in terms of the big picture, it's free trade.
What the heck? What is this? Oh. Okay. That was weird. Oh, I see. It's just a little advertisement.
The line's very far.
Social conservatism isn't dead.
I don't know what we missed there.
Trump wanted in the SAVE Act, they said, we're not going to let kids transition unless their parents...
Okay, cool. Your gas prices are bad for like a couple weeks here. All right, man. Are you going to be complaining about this here in like a month? Just out of curiosity. I'm genuinely curious. In a month from now when gas prices drop, what do you mean he let everybody down? He did not let anybody down. See, this is cope on the left. Or this is leftist cope, I guess you could say. Pure leftist cope. Trump has not let anybody down. He has not broken promises. For 47 years, he said Iran cannot have a nuke. 47 years he's been consistent on this. Y'all ignore that. Why do y'all ignore that? 47 years, dude. I don't know. This is some serious TDS. Oh no, Trump did one thing I don't like out of all the millions of things he did that I do like. Now we can't trust Trump anymore. Oh God, it's so bad. And then next month, you all are going to literally pretend like y'all never said this when everything's done. That's the best part about it.
Allow them to.
No, but I'm talking about culturally. The views on abortion have actually become far more moderated, especially in the wake of Dobbs, Roe v. Wade. If you look at the public perception of transgenderism, that's changed dramatically. If you look at the public cancel culture, remember, that's no longer a thing. Also on that one, Trump said it backtracked immediately after backlash because he's responsive to them. But no, the social conservatism actually, in a lot of ways, people, there's a resurgence.
Yeah, Trump's had insane amounts of wins. He's won so much. He's changed so much in this country, but they're going to ignore all of that because, oh no, my gas prices are temporarily high. Oh no, I'm going to put this speed on 1.5, guys, because I'll have to definitely be off here before 8 o'clock. I promised the wife I'd get the kids put down. My kids have been actually sick all day long, so she's had a tough day today with them, and, you know, just is what it is. She's very tired, and she has to get up early tomorrow for work. Yeah, Trump hasn't let anybody down. It's just leftists that are literally, you know, already is sweeping for Trump and Jeremy. Hey, Flashy. Real quick, tell me, other than Iran, what else are you dissatisfied with Trump? I'd love to hear it, man. Make any other argument than Iran. Let's see. I want to know.
I know because you discuss it. You see what they call the manosphere. People like Andrew Wilson out there, people wanting to solve the problem of marriage because that is an issue. People wanting families. The very fact that people are saying, hey, the American dream is out of reach is because they've realized that they've been sold a false bill of goods through these institutions, right? Be a boss babe, go out, be promiscuous, have your abortions. Like, well, I don't want that, but houses are still too expensive. And I would agree. They're coming down. They're still too expensive. I would not agree at all that social...
I love seeing these people come in here and sweep for Keno Casino as well. Keno Casino, false flag 5 channels, and they're all like, oh, they're allowed to do that. Cool, I guess. Why are you sweeping for Keno?
Conservatism is dead. It's certainly much more mainstream and acceptable than it was when I was, you know, a teenager.
I think you look at the GOP now, they're religiously pluralistic. You know, they have all these like Hindus involved, like Charlie Kirk wanted to call it ethical monotheism.
Oh, okay, so you're going to be like, well, I don't want to bring up the Iran thing, even though you asked me not to, but I'm going to bring up Trump's Iran stuff. Hey, Flashy, I gave you one job, buddy. Don't bring up Iran. What else did Trump betray you on? What else? What's your other problem? Because I can name 30 things Trump has done that's amazing for this country, and your only issue is one single issue with Trump. You prove my point. You're a leftist. Good job, man.
Like the new credo, so we can incorporate all these other traditions. You have the Trump administration's pro-IVF. They're not fighting on gay marriage. They have all kinds of gay people in the administration. They're not fighting on abortion. They overturned Roe. Now they don't want to do anything more about it. And then even with the transgenders, it's like, to me, that's the furthest, most extreme reach, and they're barely able to draw a line on that. They're not fighting feminism at all. You think about the party 20 years ago, and there was like a moral majority, and you had these like extremely Christian. Sure, but even under the Bush administration, now I feel like they've just kind of given that up, and now this administration is like, not everybody's Christian. Like I said, you've got some of these deviants involved. Like, so you have to admit that that's not really as much of a part of the platform as it was under Reagan or Bush 1 or 2. It is a much less socially conservative party.
You just skim past Dobbs, Roe v. Wade overturn. Like, you skim past that. That's monumental.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess it's not everything. It's not everything, but it is the single biggest, most impactful policy on abortion, which, by the way, we all assumed was a foregone conclusion in a degenerate society. It came as a shock, and it was such...
Yeah, and it was amazing. Another huge Trump win that he's talking about right there. I guess we're going to ignore that, right?
A shock. The left rallied behind it, right? Can we just, like, you can't skim past that. It's not perfect, but that's a huge change.
I mean, to me, it's not a question of perfect. It's just when you look at the overall climate, like, is this Republican Party as Christian as it was 20 years ago? Absolutely not. Would you argue that?
I think young people are absolutely...
Iran has not been an issue since day one. Iran has been literally an issue since 2 months ago. So, come on, man. You're still on the Iran thing. I asked, it's so easy, Flashy. It's very easy. I'll ask you the question one final time. I'll give you one last chance, dude. From the kindness of my heart. Other than Iran, what else has Trump done? Final chance, man. Come on. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
More Christian receptive. And when you look at church attendance, particularly more traditional denominations like Catholicism and Orthodox, I know people will argue that they're not growing as fast, but they are growing quite a bit, especially among young men. Yeah, when I was a teenager, you know, I'm in my 30s. Yeah, it was rock against Bush, right? Swastika on his head. By the way, leftists done that with every single person, and it was a non-starter. There was no Christendom. If you showed up in a film, you were the serial killer. This idea was just women's choice, my body, and you had to sidestep it and say, well, if there was no thought that Roe v. Wade would actually be overturned. It was a pie in the sky dream. So yeah, I would argue that certainly with younger people, they are significantly more Christian than even those who used to. It used to be a libertarian thing. Like it used to be a Tucker Carlson lookalike convention at CPAC stuff. This is pre-fly fishing Tucker, bow tie Tucker era. So yeah, I think with young people, they're definitely more, if not Christian, but Christian receptive and traditional.
To me, I guess overall, I'm just not as impressed with the progress that we've made over the past couple of decades. Maybe that's the difference. Is you sort of look at it as glass half full, like, well, at least we got Roe, and at least we know we're trying to do these things, and hey, it's incremental and it takes time. And me, I feel like we're staring down the barrel of a gun, where it's like we're about to become a minority as white people. The immigration thing, it's already kind of been done to us. We need something radical and urgent, because otherwise it's going to be a slow descent. And
yeah, but this is Nick Fuentes' problem, is he doesn't understand the fact that we have to hire all of these people to be able to deport all of these illegals. But the thing about it is let's say we hire them all. Okay, well, we still need to get, like, warrants and stuff like that to be able to search private property in order to find illegals. Like, it's not as easy as, like, okay, we know where all the illegals are. That's the whole point. They're illegal. We don't know where they all are. That's the big problem, Let's see. So it's not about Iran, but I can't stand how Trump has been defending Israel and even... Bro, that's still Iran. Midnight Hammer, Iran. Can you bring anything else up other than Iran, for the love of God? This is so pure cope. You actually don't have any problems with Trump other than what took place 2 months ago. And you see it too. You can't stop talking about Iran. This is absolutely incredible. So literally, the whole thing is Trump did great for a year, and then Iran happened, and now all of a sudden it's, oh, Trump's so evil and bad. He's the worst president ever now. Do you understand? Are you starting to see how ridiculously you look, man? This is so incredible. Like, I didn't think it would be this easy to break you, dude. You cannot stop talking about Iran. It's absolutely incredible. The only thing you don't like about Trump is Iran. It's so crazy. If that's the case, man, then, do you remember Biden and the wars he started? His botched pulling out of Afghanistan, the whole Ukraine war, and giving just billions of dollars over to Ukraine. That was a good thing, huh? Okay. Good, man. Go ahead and go vote Democrat, because that's what you'll get. But you don't like that 2 months now has been a downturn in the economy. And once it all goes away, too, you're going to pretend like you never said any of this. That's the best part.
And what will it fix? Victory. But what will it fix? So let's assume, and I can't, but let's assume you have the concretes, the roster. That was my first question. It'll still be roster, funds, ground game. Okay, you get that guy in. You're still going to run into 100% of the Democrat Party opposing it, and you're still always going to have some Republicans who are useless. So let's assume you do that. How does that get you radical change within 2 years like you demand? Or you basically, sabotage them?
See, but this is a straw man. It's not about 2 years. This is Trump's second term. Republicans have been in control since 2022 of the House and the Senate. So it's like, it's not like we said, oh, you got 2 years. I gave him 2 years in 2016, and they did nothing. And then we said, okay, 2018, then 2020.
Say nothing again. Do you say he didn't do as much as you would like, but not nothing?
He didn't build a wall.
Yeah, definitely not nothing. He did build a wall. He built a lot of wall. We already went over this. This is crazy.
They didn't repeal Obamacare, then they cut the corporate tax rate by 10%. So it's like, meaningfully, what did they really do? They didn't, legal immigration was really bad. So it's like, again, it's not 2 years. It's been a long time coming. And
well, back then the vote was on the economy, and it was the rip-roaringest economy that we've seen in our lifetime.
These are excuses. These are narratives.
No, I'm saying when people vote on immigration, when people vote on the economy, and they run on those platforms, they're held accountable to those platforms. You said you don't care about the platform of immigration, which was the big issue this time. The first election was entirely about the economy. So if you want to say, okay, record low inflation, where we actually saw employment come back, onshoring jobs, that's nothing, you can say it, but be honest with people and say that doesn't mean anything to you, just like immigration doesn't mean anything to you now. Just be honest.
See, that's dishonest to say. Obviously, I care about immigration, but 2016 was about build the wall. They didn't. They fed us this line and said, well, we need to fix the economy first so we could win the midterms. Okay, well, then you lost the midterms, and then we never got a border wall. It's like, so...
We did get border wall. We got a lot of border wall. This is just cope at this point. This is absolute cope. He's trying to memory hole it. If you guys are new here, please give me a like and subscribe. It's really all I ask for. Thank you all so much for being here.
This is what I'm talking about. It just never gets done. It never happens. If we win, well, we don't have enough power. If we lose, well, we weren't in power. It's like, okay, so when do we get the border wall? When do we get the deportations? When do we not go to war with Iran? When do we not spend $2 trillion on the military? Like, that's the thing. So I want to try somebody that's actually going to do what they promised to do.
Who?
Someone will rise up. And you will see. And you'll be very happy.
That's the pitch. It didn't happen in the other ones, but it'll happen this time. It didn't happen in 2020. It didn't happen in 2022. Didn't happen in 2024, but it'll happen
22 is an off year. It happened in 2016.
It's about the primaries, but yeah, because you've advocated this or sitting out, and that's a problem. And here's the thing. I want, right? I'm sure you remember the Tea Party. I want a more conservative Republican Party. But I also look and go, okay, Rubio, for example, so you mentioned the Christian thing, standing up, creating a video singularly about returning to Christian roots for Day of Prayer set to immigration. Like they're saying this. Yeah, but the H-1B numbers don't reflect that. So in this case,
They're not doing the raids. They're not doing the. They're not.
So in one case you go speech, I go policies. You go, yeah, but speech.
No.
And then I go numbers, and you go, yeah, but rhetoric. And then the other case you go executive order. I go, yeah, but then he couldn't. You go, well then, yeah, but Republicans aren't getting this through Congress. It seems like you can just
Rubio's
focus on
great
failure.
because he gave a speech. It's like, who cares that he gave a speech? Rubio's a neocon. He's backed by Miriam
Because the
Adelson.
discussion was about you were saying culturally Christian. The party does not. You said is not as far as the rhetoric as Christian as it used to be.
Hey, Ginger, thank you so much for that comment. I don't know that I'd be that skilled, but that is a very nice thing for you to say.
And I'm saying this is a change. Rubio saying that is that significant? Because you wouldn't get a Democrat saying that.
Okay.
No?
Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we're being promised golden age, mass deportations, and you're like, well, Rubio gave a speech about being Christian.
No, it's not. That's not. You just said I was being dishonest and saying you said you don't care about immigration. I believe your exact quote is, I don't give a fuck about immigration. The only thing keeping me alive is my war against Israel at this point. Do I have that close to correct? So don't tell me I'm being
That's
dishonest.
hyperbolic. That's
okay,
rhetoric.
it's
But we
hyperbolic.
addressed that. We addressed that already.
Oh,
And I said,
it's okay when he said, it's like Candace Owens. I didn't say that Erica Kirk murdered her husband. I just asked her why she murdered her husband. You gotta love it. You don't care about immigration, and then Nick Fuentes literally is quoted, "I don't care about immigration." And I'm being hyperbolic. It's so great.
like, look, immigration is something that they're always baiting us with, and they never do anything about. Okay. And then when they do the bare
Flashy,
minimum,
I
they say,
think,
well,
is
it's better
giving
than
up.
nothing. And you go,
That's
well,
funny.
theoretically,
He
yeah, but if it doesn't
won't
meaningfully
answer my
change
question.
anything, then it's not worth sacrificing other issues.
Sure.
So by and large, I would just say, look, 10 years into the Trump movement, we don't have the country that we want. They've had more than enough time. I think it's time to just do something radical and send a message, which is, we're not happy.
Yeah,
I'm not
slow it
happy
down
with
a
it.
little.
You may be happy and say, well, what about this? What about that?
let's go to-
We're in a war with Iran. The deportations aren't there. What more is there to say? That's
do
where I'm
this.
coming at it from.
We are in a conflict with Iran. And by the way, I think last time you were on the show, you said like we might be more aligned on the initial strikes in Iran
Not quite.
than I would think.
There we go.
Deportations are there. And again, I'll make the numbers available because even the one you said with the New York Times, they're not as much as I would like to be, but it's different from 10 to 20 million illegals. I still would.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we hate that a president is so pro-Israel. Name one president that was anti-Israel. Yeah, never happened, huh? Funny how that works. We've never had a president that has been anti-Israel. Ever.
Ask you the same question, right? That's the point. And I get it. You don't have an answer. For me to vote Democrat, let me try it another way, okay? Because I want to make sure that we're aligned on what we want. All right. Let's say I'm a candidate, and I don't want to say your district because I don't want another angry old Jew lady to show up, but, general Illinois-ish. I'm running. I go, okay, I understand. I hear it. Young Americans don't have this as well as they should. Okay, look, all right, here's what I'm going to do for you. I am going to vote for, and I am going to support, of course, pausing all illegal immigration. We're going to close the border down. We're going to start building the wall. Okay, we're going to do this. Okay, we're blocked by Democrats, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to reduce H-1Bs by 87%. These things are suppressing your wages. All right, we're going to do everything we can.
We actually did have one president that is somewhat anti-Israel, and that was Jimmy Carter. Huh. I didn't know that, actually. He wasn't full-fledged anti-Israel, but that's the only president we've ever had in history that was, like, leaning towards anti-Israel. That's hilarious, actually.
And to bring down the cost of rent. We're going to do everything we can to try and
Yeah,
make housing
Biden
more
is a
affordable. Here's what we're
Zionist,
going to do as far as jobs. Okay, jobs. We're going to punish companies that are offshoring. We're going to use tariffs. We're going to incentivize companies that are onshoring. We're going to codify these taxes into law. We're going to try and do this to remove the effects that are suppressing your wages as a young American so you don't see what the Democrats would have, which is a 20+% unemployment rate. We're going to get rid of DEI. We're going to get rid of, just for you guys, we're going to get rid of racially based admissions. We're going to have a Supreme Court that rules on these and overturns them. More money back in your pocket. Try and make sure that we can employ American workers. America first. But that's enough because I will do that. And how do I be the guy to get your vote, Nick?
Mass deportations, build a wall, keep us out of war with Iran. Period. That's all you had to do.
Trump's done 2 out of 3. Wow. Okay. There you go, Nick. I mean, that's better than Biden.
That's all they had to do to keep me happy, and that's all the next president has to do to make me happy.
Okay.
It's not happening.
So how do I, so it comes down to those, we understand that requires, right, going through Congress. So what you really mean is use the nuclear option to get the wall passed.
You don't even, Stephen, you don't even need it because they passed the big, beautiful bill. They have the money. They got $190 billion. Wasn't that the pitch? We're going to cut Medicaid to pay for a corporate tax rate, but that's okay because we're going to allocate $190 billion to fund DHS in perpetuity, $90 billion for ICE, $20 billion for a border wall. But it's not that they can't do it, they won't do it. ICE and CBP didn't even shut down when the Democrats shut down DHS because they were funded through the next 5 years from the BBB from last year in June, but they're
I'll fact check that and we'll see. We'll see what Steven Crowder says about it too.
not doing it because they don't want to get rid of the farmers. They don't want to get rid of this, that, because the donors don't want them to. They don't want to build a wall.
You're still talking about Iran, Flashy. Why? Man, you're going to have to let that die because I'm going to wait for you to come back and chat whenever the Iran all that conflict there is done, when everything's wrapped up and gas prices plummet, I'll wait for you to come back and chat. And we'll see what you say about that then. And we'll see if you pretend like, you didn't say all this stuff. I'm really curious to see what happens, man.
It's like Trump can't get his favored companies to get the contract, so they're just giving up. Like, that's the problem. You can't blame the Democrats on this one. Why are they not doing more? I mean, you tell me. They have the money. Why are they not doing raids? Why are they not shutting everybody down? Why is the border wall not finished by now?
It's not finished. It is being built. So, but here's my point. Right, that rhetoric, like, do it. Okay, but right now you're not going to trust anyone who says they will do it because there is gridlock. You do have to admit. But someone campaigns on it, and I've heard you say, well, they're not going to do it. So how do I get your vote? In other words, I know that Nick Fuentes and his people are going to vote Democrat. They don't have anyone. They don't have grassroots. They don't have funding. So I want to be that guy and step up as tribute. How? You're saying the person is they will come, and how is give me the exact rhetoric that I've rejected because I've said it's nothing but broken promises and dismissed all of it. I don't think there's any world in which any candidate would fit the bill. And I don't think there's any world, frankly, Nick, in which you or have a ground game, the finances to go up against the donor class, to go up against, frankly, the fact that when Democrats attain power, you're going to be looking at a moderate Republican because then people's perceptions and their priorities shift toward winning. That's what we see historically. I understand where your heart, because my heart is there too in not wanting moderate Republicans. I think it's objectively the worst path forward and guarantees destruction.
I wonder if Nick does think he's going to be a candidate. You might be onto something, Storm Girl. I don't know. Maybe. When can how old is he? Is he younger than me? Let me take a look.
But I think we disagree on that because you think it's certain destruction anyway, and there's no difference. And I can respect that.
There's no other option. There's no other option. I mean, Vance and Rubio, these are horrible options. They're not going to cut it.
He's 27.
They are part of this administration. It's going to be an extension of this administration. And these past two administrations under Trump,
he won't be able to run it all for another 8 years. So there's that.
Have been objectively a failure. As far as I'm concerned, there's literally no other option other than to burn this down and hope that something else will be there, because this ain't going to work. And,
Trump's not obsessing over Iran. He's been involved for 2 months. And you're the only one who can't stop mentioning Iran after I asked you, a lot to, name anything else but Iran. So I don't know about that, man. I think you're obsessed with Iran. I've literally asked you to bring up anything other than Iran. And you just keep bringing it up, man. So I don't know, man. I think you guys are obsessed with Iran.
You can say all that, but it's like if Donald Trump running in 24, if he can't get mass deportations, if he can't build the wall, if he can't keep us out of war with Iran, how is Rubio and Vance, how are they going to be any better? They were a part of this. They don't have the cult of personality around them. They're not ideologically aligned with Trump. They're going to be worse. Mm-hmm. So you either have something worse than this or you have a Democrat. I'm rejecting all of it and saying weaken the Republicans, get somebody better in 28. Open up that space for somebody to show up.
Well, you rapid fire that, and we keep going because this is the way our brain works, so I'm not condemning you for it. But Donald Trump did not say that we would never be in a war with Iran. You can go back to 1980 where he has consistently said, I will use the military against Iran. You may not...
There it is. There it is. That he would use the military against Iran if he were president in 1980s. Absolutely. And now he's doing it. But people want to forget. And he's just like, oh, come on. Don't throw facts in my way.
1980, 1987, 93, 96, 2011, and that escalator speech. You may not agree with it, but it's not like he has doubled back on that. He said no new forever wars in the history of wars, 70-something days. It's remarkably short. I hope it ends soon, like I said, and give it 3 months, and then we'll check back. I'll share the same opinion that you would. We said, okay, there's no difference in deportations. I disagree because even the New York Times article that you cite, I remember that it was 500,000. That's not including self-deportations. And you say no wall. Are you going to disagree with this one too? Washington Post, 1,300 miles of wall right now, currently under construction.
Yeah, that's not real.
It's not real.
Fake.
Okay.
Fake.
So every single number from think tank, from these departments, whether it's DHS, also people who have a vested interest in harming Donald Trump, you have simply dismissed them as fake or not real while presenting the idea of destruction being the only solution. You get why that's hard to follow.
It's disingenuous. First of all, that 500,000 number from the New York Times, I already told you, that's 230,000 removals, and the other 500,000 are arrests. Those are not people that have been deported. So 230,000 removals for the year. And then, by the way, we're in the second year, and they shut down the raids. They shut down these big surges of CBP and ICE to the city. So it's not, they wanted 1 million per year. We're getting 250,000. And we might get fewer this year. So it's like...
Okay. Why do you think that is, Nick? Do you think it's because he doesn't want to get rid of people? Or do you think we're trying to get rid of them and the Democrats are doing everything they can to stop it from happening? We are fighting 2/3, okay? We have our third, and now we're fighting the other third, which is illegals. And then we're also on top of that fighting Democrats who are literally holding sanctuary cities, hiding these people, warning them that they're coming. What else are we supposed to do? It's going to take a while. Letting the border open and in and flooding everything is easy. Cleaning up that mess is very, very difficult. But we are doing it. We are getting rid of them. It's just a slower process than what we thought was going to happen. We didn't think that the Democrats were going to turn around and start doing all of this crazy crap instantly. That's not something that we necessarily... I mean, we definitely expected Democrats to do something. We didn't know it was going to be that bad. Oh, you're a leftist, Flashy? That makes sense. Gotcha. Okay, I'm not too surprised.
It's not I don't trust any number. The border wall number.
No, you do trust numbers. You trust every number that Democrats use as talking points. 100% of the ones that you've used today.
Well, show me the ICE numbers. If ICE is so proud of the job they've done, then why has ICE not published the numbers that they're mandated to put out semi-monthly since December 2024, if they're so proud?
Okay, we will publish the numbers after this interview from Brookings.
No. Why has ICE not published them? Why has ICE not published those numbers if they're so great? Because they have them, they won't publish them.
ICE has published numbers, and I know that they've made some changes to that for the same reason that we see. By the way, you're not going to get an argument from me that we get consistent number tracking. For example, these numbers of native-born versus foreign-born, they get changed, and particularly with a very high turbulence issue like immigration, those numbers get misreported, they get revised. That's why we also rely on secondary sources. For example, your New York Times source. For example, the Brookings Institute. For example, Washington Post. But you go, I don't like that one, and you cherry pick it. I don't think
like the
that
survey.
That means you're cherry picking. Made his point for him. Look at that. Look at that. He instantly has that, did you really just say that, look on his face. That's amazing. Yeah, he is cherry picking, and that's the problem. See, Nick Fuentes needs controversy in order to keep growing himself and his channel and everything else. It's the same thing with Candace Owens. This is the problem with these big-time streamers. They can't be happy with anything, ever. They always have to be in conflict and then have their audience always in conflict to rile them up. And whenever you build up these radicals that are all riled up over things that aren't actually going on, that's kind of the problem. You get this perpetual, constant, how would I say it? War mindset. They're always in war mode. They're always wanting to fight. It's fight. Even whenever we have it good, just continue fighting. And if people aren't willing to fight, now they're your enemy. That's what the left does. That's the problem. The left is in a perpetual fight always. Fight. Now we have our guys going fight, but instead of fighting the left, they're fighting other people that are on their side for the most part. And that's the big problem we're seeing on the right. It's purity testing. It's what the left did, but the left fell in line. And now the left won't question themselves at all, ever. You never hardly see infighting with the left that often anymore. And the reason why is because, look at this. The left is a bunch of Marxists. They want people like Bernie Sanders leading. But the moment that Joe Biden came in and was like, I'm running, and Bernie Sanders was like, we have to have him run, the left fell in line. They dropped all their principles. And now I'm seeing the quote-unquote Nick Fuentes people here absolutely doing the exact same thing. Flashy says, I'm kind of shocked you didn't ban me over a disagreement like many other channels, though. I will give you credit. Well, I appreciate that. Look, I only ban people whenever they start spamming and then expect me to answer their questions and then go, I'm not answering your questions. You know what I mean? That it frustrates me very much so when that happens, because I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to be unfair. Okay, I have to dance for you, but you don't got to dance for me type thing. It's like, wow, I just, that's when I'll ban people. Whenever they start getting to that point, you know what I mean? Or just flat out insulting. If they start insulting, then it's like, nah, I'm not going to deal with that. I don't have to deal with that, you know what I mean? But no, I'm not going to ban you just because we disagree. That's for sure. I don't do that. Barely Protestant for $5 says, we should have stopped Clinton from offing Harambe. None of this would have happened. His death created an alternative timeline. You are probably absolutely correct. There's no arguing that. Yeah, that's probably exactly what happened. Thank you so much, Barely Protestant. That's a great comment. I love that. I'm glad when we don't have to be too serious all the time, at least. Good breaks from, it's healthy. We need to learn to laugh and stuff. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much there. Thank you so much for that. That was very kind of you. Man, you guys are awesome today. It's been just a wonderful day today, to be honest.
I don't like the community survey from the census where they survey 65,000 households. It could very easily be a response bias. If illegals are not responding to the survey, okay? And by the way,
and I was the same thing with New York Times.
They revised the data down. No, but the New York Times is actually going into internal data, not public data that ICE releases, but internal data, and that is their estimate. So if ICE were proud of
Now
their
the
numbers,
Washington
they would
Post
be
with
publishing
1,300
them.
miles of border wall.
Well, see, Flashy, and I'm hoping I can convert you today. You know what I mean? Like, in that sense, there's nothing outside of the Iran war. But you can stick to your beliefs. I'll give you a crazy out here, okay? A crazy out. I would like for you to come back after all this is wrapped up. For real. If the Iran war continues indefinitely throughout Trump's presidency, I will concede fully. No doubt about that. But I just want to ask you this simple question. What happens if the Iran war ends? You know what I mean? Will there be any more complaints? Now, maybe there will be if Trump goes and invades somewhere else. And here's the thing. I've said this on the channel numerous times just because I know you're new here. So I got to understand that you have not heard me say this. If it was not Iran and Trump invaded anywhere else in the Middle East and started getting these conflicts going up and disrupting everything, I would have had a major, major problem with it. If Trump had not been consistent, because that's the problem. Trump has been so consistent on Iran for 40 years. He gets that pass from me. It's like, okay, the guy has said this for a long, long time. He said he would go in the 80s. He said he would absolutely use military force on Iran if he were president. The problem is Trump didn't initially try to go into Iran at all. At the beginning of the year, he was like, hey, we're going back to my nuclear deal from my first term. And Iran put up a lot of resistance. He negotiated with Iran for 7 months. 6 months, right? 6 months, actually. From February, he started this all the way into July. And then he bombed them. Then he gave them another 7 months. July, August. 7 months, exactly. So in February, he was like, this is it. You will die if you do not do this. And I believe it was in March he struck them. When did Trump strike Iran? That was in March, right? No, February 28th. Whatever. March. I'm counting it as March. February 28th is the last day of February. That doesn't count. Okay, so anyway, March 1st, technically, February 28th, whatever you want to count it. So yeah, it was all full-fledged March when this took place. Now we're in May, and we all know this is going to wrap up. This will wrap up. But if it doesn't, I will give it to you, Flashy. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. But this is going to wrap up. This war's nothing. We haven't even put troops on the ground. You know what I mean? And Iran hasn't been able to do anything at all. So, Operation Epic Fury, it should be over, I think. Epic Fury was the first one, right? Or was it Midnight Hammer? Was Midnight Hammer the first one, or was it Epic Fury? When was Midnight Hammer? That was the one in July, right? Okay, or June. I keep saying July instead of June. I always confuse June and July. And my wife hates it because her birthday's in June. If I say July, she gets upset. And I'm just like, I don't mean to say July. It's just June and July are right next to each other, and they're both start with J's, and they're both 4-letter words, So it's like, you can't blame me. I'm dyslexic in my head sometimes. Sometimes it just comes out like that. It's funny, though. But yeah, no, for real. When that happens, this is the thing. Nobody's going to care about Iran. Literally, if Iran ends this month, nobody's going to care about it. Not a single person. Fuentes will even come out. I guarantee you, Fuentes will even come out and be like, okay, well, I didn't like it, but at least it's over. And then literally it will never be mentioned again. I did vote for this. I 1,000,000% voted for this. I voted for the border being closed. I voted for DEI to be ended. I voted for abortions to go back to the states. I voted for how would I put it? I voted for tariffs, 1,000,000%, and we have those. I voted for deportations. I voted for us bringing our factories back overseas into the country. And I voted for us to, and I didn't know it was going to go this way. This is like icing on the cake. I voted for us to be exporting oil. But instead of just exporting oil, we opened up the whole Gulf, like the Strait of Hormuz. That's a game changer. When Iran, I don't think you all realize, when this Iran war ends, we're not going to just have oil from the Strait of Hormuz again going into Europe. The reason why, does anybody even know why our gas prices are up high? Do y'all know why our gas prices are up high? Because we're selling it to Europe right now. Therefore, we have a shortage. You know? So that's the thing. Well, that's not the problem. That wasn't why him just obliterating their nuclear arsenal was not the reason why he bombed them. He said they had to agree to our nuclear deal. And they still are refusing to agree to it. That's the point. That was the whole reason why this happened. So there's that. But here's the deal. When the Strait of Hormuz opens up and it gets the oil back into Europe, okay, what do you think's going to happen after that, now that we have our entire Gulf of America operation going with the oil? It's going to be unbelievable. You guys will, our gas prices not only are going to drop down like crazy, but the money we're going to be making from exporting that much oil is going to be insane. It's going to go flood our economy. You're going to see that all of these oil investors, they're going to bump up the stock markets like crazy. And our gas prices are going to be so far down. It's going to be the craziest time. Now, again, if we never pull out of Iran, yeah, it's going to be bad. And I will blame Trump for that. But we've got to give him more than 2 months. Charlie Kirk said it best. Trust the president. That's exactly his stance on the whole Iran situation. And I back that. In Charlie's memory, I back that.
Currently under construction. But they're using the data available to them. So do we apply the same standard?
I imagine you pulled that up. I haven't seen that during the show because you didn't mention that earlier. So I haven't seen that, but I don't believe that's true.
Now.
Yeah, we covered it on the show also before. You know what? Look, I would take it with a grain of salt. That's why I provide 2 or 3 sources. I think the totality is there's a very different picture.
So, Adam, you're telling me that Obama's nuclear deal was better. You agree? You actually think Obama's nuclear deal was better than Trump's? Is that really? I'm going to have you think about that one, man. Is that really what you wanted to say?
Sure. And I think many people would say there's a very different picture on immigration, on net positive, negative immigration, H-1Bs, on the border wall. I think that contrast is pretty stark. And again, voting for Democrat where we know where they line up is a very tough sell with the person will appear. That's really the sticking point. The person will appear. This is very similar. It ends up being what you did in 2020, 2022, where you said sit it out or, vote third party.
There was a reason to be in this. Trump wanted his nuclear deal with Iran. Joe Biden got rid of the nuclear deal that Trump signed and put back Obama's nuclear deal. And Trump was like, nope, coming back. We're not doing this. We're going back to my deal. So you're telling me right now that you do agree with Obama's nuclear deal. That's literally what you're telling me.
In this case, I know sit it out. I'll give you that you never said vote Democrat. You've never encouraged people to vote Democrat, if that's the case. Yeah, but it did have net effects. People sitting out flipped the Senate, right? And there was no plan after that. And now it's take your word for it that there's a plan this time because he will appear. Would you consider putting something together more concrete so that those on the right could work in tandem to accomplish something like the left has done over the course of decades?
Like I told you, that comes together when someone is ready to announce, they will announce. Okay. So first, it's not like we don't have an idea of who might run or what the plan might be. It's just that you know how that goes in a presidential election year. You don't announce until you announce. That's number one. But number two, everybody's so hung up on, well, who are we going to vote for? Well, who are we going to vote for? It's like, well, let's just make it clear. Vance and Rubio, which I don't even hear you disputing this. You say, I would reluctantly support Rubio if I had to. Let me ask you this. This is a very simple question.
No, I'll clarify. I wouldn't reluctantly support Rubio over Gavin Newsom. I would passionately vote Rubio over Gavin Newsom because we have a two-party system and that's how it goes.
And that's crazy because I don't want Obama McCain. I don't want Obama Romney. I don't want Newsom Rubio. I want something else. And here's the thing. This is the way I would say it. If Vance and Rubio are strong in 28, we don't get a primary.
Right.
You understand? Because the party will consolidate around one of them. Like most of the party, the money, the leadership, the cadre will fall in line behind one or the other. And you're going to get a very tiny field where one guy's going to be the dominant favorite and there won't be a competition. In my mind, that means, just in terms of logic, the only way that anyone's going to stand a chance.
It's not even about the money. It's literally about not allowing Iran to have a nuke, and Obama tried to let them have a nuke. Like, so you do agree? Like, I just want to get it straight. You do agree? You do agree that Obama's nuclear deal was better than Trump's, then, right? Like, you agree with Obama on that. It's fine to agree with it. You can be a leftist and agree with Obama's policies. I'm not saying that's not allowed. I just want it to be very, very clear that that's your policy. You know, that's your principles.
Is if they are sufficiently weakened by being tied to this toxic administration, if the administration fails and is sabotaged.
Yeah.
And so it's just about creating a possibility for another choice. That's the most simple way that I can make it.
I understand. Yeah, it's about, like you said, sabotaging the Trump administration in order to create the possibility. And like you said, they need to go into election weaker, which means the country would be in a worse off place. So put the country in a worse off place, sabotage the America First administration in order for the person who will appear who will be better.
It's the Israel First administration. I think that's very obvious.
It's for the White House, and it's not just a ballroom and pool. It's literally so he can have a correspondence dinner, meetings and stuff without ever having to leave the White House. Every single meeting he has to do, essentially with a bunch of people involved, he's literally going to have to do it at a hotel or any other location. It's unsecure. Just have it at the White House. Much easier, much better.
So is that the issue?
Well, you say you want to sabotage the America First administration. This is not an America First administration. In what way? In what way are they putting America over Israel or other countries?
In the ways that we just went through that you refute at all costs with Democrat talking points. And that's where I'm confused.
They shut down deportations because they're unpopular. Then they launched a regime change war of choice in Iran. You have them going into Harvard and Yale telling them you have to teach a pro-Israel curriculum. They're reviewing 50,000 visas to see if they've ever criticized Israel. Like they reviewed every country that receives foreign aid to see if they're America First, except for Israel. That was the memo last year. So it's like
not quite. The Senate has a bill on their desk that was proposed to allocate taxpayer funds to the White House ballroom. There are also billions of dollars coming from, or not, was it $220 million from private donors going to the ballroom. So it hasn't been passed. So maybe taxpayer dollars will fund it. Maybe not. It's in the Senate right now, though. It has not been passed.
Like, you say, oh, you want to bring down this administration, saving America. It's not happening.
I didn't say saving America. I said, I'm repeating back to you what you said. This administration needs to be sabotaged. You've said that you want to see President Trump impeached. You want to see him hamstrung. And the nation needs to be worse off so that someone will appear who will save it.
Oh, I don't
So make sure your audience knows that. That young Americans are going to be facing double-digit unemployment, well over 20%. You're going to be seeing a massive influx of H-1Bs. You're going to see the exact opposite. You're going to see the exact opposite.
What if gas prices were $6 a gallon? That would be crazy. Oh, it's a good thing we bombed Iran for Israel.
If not this, then that. There's the moving the goalpost. Be honest with your audience. You want this country to be in a worse place and this administration, Democrats to be stronger so that, and I would go along with it if I understood it, so that someone will appear is not enough. Because I think you're going to run into the same problem that you run into at the Endel's Air. And you're really upset about the purity test saying we don't all have to think the same thing. And I don't think there's any candidate who would be able to pass yours. Here's mine. No money for Israel at all. AIPAC should be treated like every single other foreign lobbying organization. Fuck them with a wire brush. Could you vote for me? Because I'm not going to go any further than that.
I'm not saying the country has to be.
No, we have not removed the IRGC. We have not removed them. Not even close yet. And we're not necessarily trying to regime change either. So there is also that. That's kind of been misconstrued. But the IRGC is still in charge of Iran right now.
Worse off. I'm saying the administration does. And what I said at the very beginning is the administration is doing bad things. War with Iran is bad. If the Democrats could get in and shut that down, that's good.
I already told you the objective. The objective is to get them to agree to our nuclear deal. It literally is that. So there you go.
Democrats can get in and subpoena and impeach these people that are doing these things. That's good. So no, I actually don't think the country's going to be worse off. I think the administration's going to be worse off. Okay. The administration's unpopular.
Keep thinking that Israeli money
so you mean you think it'll just be painful? That you think that Democrats will just be painful for the Trump administration, not for the American people? Do I have that correct?
Yeah, because again, they're only going to control the House.
Okay. All right. That's a fundamental disagreement. I think that when Democrats, especially when you look at their plan, I think when they attain power, I think also what we've lived through underneath them, including sometimes just having control of the House, I think it'll be catastrophic. I think it'll be destructive. And I certainly think that's a big risk because if they have that and then they get a general election, which is not unlikely, right? That's not a small risk. Would we agree with that? Would we agree that midterm wins generally?
You think it was unnecessary. That's an opinion. Yeah, but no, it wasn't unnecessary. And most Trump supporters understand that.
Generally, especially when opposition translate to general wins the next time. Would you agree with that statement?
Not necessarily, actually.
Not necessarily, but as a historical trend, the president would be the likelihood of Democrats winning a general if they win those midterms is it's higher than 50%. Maybe it's 52.
Okay, well now hold on, Adam. I'll give you the same task here, buddy. Other than Iran, what other problem did you have with Trump? Because all your problems are literally just coming from the last 2 months. So that means if you're so upset with Trump, surely he screwed up something in the past year. Other than Iran, let's go for that. Other than Iran, what's your issue?
But it's not a small risk.
There's a risk, certainly.
Yeah. And
but what is the risk of running Vance and Rubio? I don't think they're winnable candidates anyway. And I think even if they were, we don't want them. So
what do you mean they weren't after a nuclear weapon? They directly said that. They admitted they were making a nuclear weapon. And they literally will not agree to Trump's nuclear terms. What do you think that means? If they're not building a nuclear weapon, then why not agree to the terms of not building a nuke? What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense, man. Again, though, I want to know what your problems are with Trump other than Iran.
I understand that, and I certainly understand the criticism of them. I certainly don't want Democrats to have the House and White House, and I think it's it's a stronger likelihood than not. And that, to me, is just a bridge that I absolutely...
And you know how I know this? You want to know how I know this? Joe Kent has absolutely nothing to do with foreign relations at all. You know what his job was? To look for domestic terrorism. His job was counterterrorism in the United States. What are you talking about? Joe Kent doesn't have that information. He was never in any of those war meetings whatsoever. So why would you give Joe Kent that leverage over you? He didn't even have that info. That wasn't his job. It wasn't his purview. He didn't have any briefing on it. Why cite him? He was not briefed on Iran. So that just doesn't make sense. Why trust that? You're saying Joe... No, oh, okay. Adam is a leftist. Never mind. Now I understand. There's no point in even arguing with the guy. He thinks Joe Biden's numbers were better than Trump's. This is insane.
Wouldn't be able to cross.
Wow.
But I do appreciate you laying this out. And by the way, I do, again, I was there at the Tea Party. I think you were younger than the Tea Party there. I know it now. It's like, the Tea, it's a corny name, but the Rick Santelli rant, where everyone was saying socialism about Barack Obama was a racist dog whistle. And they were able to veer the party.
Yeah, it's been like that for literally a couple weeks, Adam. Trump's numbers over the past year and a half have been better than Biden's. But for 1 month, it hasn't. So therefore, Joe Biden's better.
Further to the right. I do think that it can be done more effectively through primaries rather than instituting into power the party of, like, just to put a finer point on it, drag queen story hour. I think the left in America is out of their fucking mind, and giving them any power is an insane risk.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that we just got to stop playing not to lose. We got to play to win. And sometimes that means you got to take...
There you go, Nick. You got to play to win. And handing the keys over to the Democrats means you lose. So you're not following your own philosophy at all.
A couple steps back to take a few steps forward. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I think that because I've been on this ride, you've been on it longer than me, admittedly, but I've been on this ride and I've watched all these cycles, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, and I've just been so disappointed at Republicans' willingness to just come...
Adam's going for the hardcore leftist talking points now. That's amazing. He just went full mask off in here. Oh, wow. All right, man. Yeah, just tell us you voted for Kamala. It's cool, man.
Completely sell us out on everything. I mean, you can even go back to 22, not to open up a whole other thing, but like, I remember in 2020, they gave up on Trump fighting the stolen election. 22, they said, we're going to get to the bottom of the Capitol riot footage. We're going to look at the surveillance, and we're going to fight Biden on the debt ceiling. We're going to force immigration. Didn't do any of it. 24, deportations, no new wars. It's like we tried it that way for a long time, and increasingly, because you're right, 20...
Yeah, we tried it this way for 2 months, Nick, and now you're tired of it.
22, 24, 26. For me, it's escalating. I'm getting more and more pissed off, more and more like, when do we get it? When does it happen? After they bombed Iran, I said, Trump, I see what you've done for Israel. Do that for deportations. They won't. So this is where we're at. I think they forced our hand.
Wanted us to drop a missile in our city to get rid of immigrants? Okay. Illegal immigrants, really? That's a heck of a... I don't think we could have done that, Nick.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. Would you allow for the fact... by the way, I would like to at some point here, if you're okay with it, because I don't want to pull a Candace and put your interview behind paywall. This has all been mass, but take some chat, because that's for those who subscribe. Would you allow for the fact that when you're talking about your purity tests, that someone may think, hey, you know what, a weakened and non-nuclear Iran, or Iran being a potential threat needing to be dealt with, that someone could hold that opinion and not be exclusively holding it for Israel?
I think they could.
He wasn't. He released the files, Adam. Epstein files are out if you want to check them.
I just think they'd be wrong. I think it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what's happening there.
Okay. So again, just to clarify, can someone say, yeah, I think Iran should be weakened. I think Iran is a threat. And I think there's a reason that this military conflict is going on. And I wouldn't advocate doing it on behalf of Israel, but I do think there's a reason to do it on behalf of the United States.
I just don't know. I mean, I think you can think that. I think you can think that.
There you go. I just don't know. There you go. It's really that simple. That's all he had to say.
That is what you're supporting, but I don't think there's any practical way where that happens in reality. Like I said, I think that's just like context denial of what's really going on over there. You know, like we need to weaken Iran. Like, I'll say this, Iran should not get a nuclear weapon. I'm 100% agreement with that. However, why do they want one? You know, and how are we going to prevent them from getting one? There's no way to answer those questions without involving Israel and how they've been the engine of all of these events.
For sure there is.
Okay, how?
It's a radical death cult who want to eradicate anyone who doesn't follow suit at any cost that they have done historically. I mean, it follows Muhammad to a T, who created this exact same playbook. I think that if you got rid, this is where I don't think we should be giving any blank check to Israel. If we want to discuss this, we can discuss this. Let's do it. I don't think we should be giving a blank check to Israel.
Yeah.
None. Ad hoc basis like every other nation.
I agree.
I hate AIPAC for the same reason I hate Act Blue, that they gave like $800K to Hakeem Jeffries. But I also think that, yeah, they probably need to look into them. And I don't think they should be able to do this under the cloak of America.
Yeah, I don't think we should be giving anybody a blank check. That's just silly. You know what I mean? It goes unregulated. You don't know where your stuff goes. Yeah, we shouldn't ever be doing that. Now, we need to treat Israel like our ally because they are our ally. But we don't give the UK a blank check. Imagine if we gave the UK a blank check, guys. Good Lord, could you imagine what the UK would turn into? We kind of were, I guess, well, I say imagine that. I guess we were doing that through, what's it called? The UN. We were just cutting the UN pretty much a blank check. So I guess we were doing that, which is crazy to do. And we stopped doing that, you know what I mean? Right now isn't necessarily the time to cut off Israel right this second. Not during everything that's going on at the moment. But after this whole Iran thing wraps up, I think we do need to sit down and consider everything we're doing. A vast majority of the things that we're doing with Israel, though, is transactional, which I don't see as a problem. I think selling them weapons is absolutely fine. We got to make money somewhere with all this, and I don't see a better ally to get, like, literally sell weapons to than Israel. Maybe the UK, if they can get this fixed. I would not want to send UK any more weapons at all, actually, right now, because they're leaning so hard to communism, it's dangerous. You know what I mean? But other than that, yeah, I mean, we could, if the UK gets it straightened up, I would love to get the UK in on the exact same deal we're doing for Israel. I think that would be a great thing. But the UK's got to fix their stuff first. That's for sure. We cannot be having an entire city full of radical terrorists and then fund that. That just cannot happen, you know? Christian, heck yeah, we got Christian in here. Send me a medallion, man. Didn't Nick's live stream footage of the Capitol have gotten tons of people arrested? Also, can you play a clip of him saying that he is a Mexican? Absolutely. That's hilarious. Thank you so much for that $5 super chat there, Christian. Christian Weston Chandler's in the chat now. That'd be so amazing. Yeah, send me a medallion. That'd be great. Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, it's you're dead on there though. Like, yes, Nick Fuentes absolutely encouraged so many people to get violent on January 6th, just like Ray Epps. Isn't that weird? Isn't that just a little bit weird that they didn't get arrested for calling for violence? But people who were like Owen Schroyer, who was like, hey, don't go into the Capitol, and he gets arrested. I find it to be weird. I find that to be a little weird. I find it to be weird that people who weren't violent at all got arrested, but Nick Fuentes did not. That's just so strange. Weird how that happens.
Americans, I don't think any group should be lobbying on behalf of a foreign government above the priorities of Americans. So screw AIPAC with a wire brush. My position is no foreign lobbying, period. But that doesn't pass the purity test, because I also think that the Iranian regime...
If Nick wanted to get rid of neocons, he would not be voting Democrat. That is absolutely not true. That's not even close to true.
...is a death cult who, if Israel didn't exist tomorrow, would be just like Muhammad in the 7th century, 8th century, every single century trying to eradicate anyone who's not under Islamic subjugation, regardless of this modern nation. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't think it helps. I think they hate Israel. I don't think it's the only reason.
I don't consider that a purity test. I think that's just a fundamental ideological difference. If you're talking about, I think we should bomb Iran, I think we should destroy Iran for pro-America reasons, it's like, well, I don't think we should destroy Iran. I don't think we can, and I don't think it's even worthwhile. I mean, you look at, we just simply can't.
Exactly. Why can't we? What is Iran going to do about it? They don't have the defenses. We've seen that. I don't know what he's talking about.
Not. Look at what's happening right now. We hit them with everything we have, everything from air and sea, and they maintain control of the strait. They maintain the ability to launch drones and missiles. The regime is intact. What more do you think we can do militarily that's going to put a stop to this? You know, I mean, do you have an answer for that?
Hold on a second. We're getting into two separate things. The question that I was asking is, and we can go to that. I mean, I think that it's, again, you do this where you're like, 90% of their Navy is gone. Like, yeah, they're able to control the strait, but you also know that that has to do with insurance rates, right? And businesses not being willing to take the risk. That's a little different from saying that militarily they're completely intact. The point that I was making, though, and I see this strain, particularly from, people like Dan Bilzerian going over and saying, I heard the call to prayer and it was the most beautiful thing in the world. I don't believe that there has been a greater evil perpetrated against Christianity or the free world than Islam.
Okay.
1,000,000%. Absolutely correct.
Yeah. And I think that's
I'm not pro-Muslim. I'm not pro-Muslim in any way, shape, or form. So.
I know that you're not. But the point is, a lot of these people who would be more in alliance with you than me are like, well, that's Jewish propaganda. It's not propaganda. It's an understanding of historical record and precedence. And I think that Iran is obviously the most radical as far as a group. The regime, by the way. We need to separate people from the regime.
Trump is not a convicted rapist. What are you talking about, dude? Why would you even say that? That's not even close to true. He was never convicted for that. You realize that, right? How are people so ignorant to the law? That is crazy to say that. He has never been convicted for that.
There's a reason that vast majority of people pray for these bombs and want them for the same reason that people of Venezuela and right now the people of Cuba. Doesn't mean it's our job, to be clear. But there's a reason that the people are very different from the regime. They're following lockstep with Muhammad and the initial spread of Islam. And that absolutely would happen here in the United States if we followed the leftists.
Trump has been one of the most ineffective presidents. Man, Adam, you are coping. You are so simping for the left. Man, I didn't know we had a communist in the chat pretending to be a groiper.
Voting pattern, the leftist governing pattern, we'd end up like Europe or Canada. And I was in Canada and I watched people cheer the second tower be hit because I had a hugely Muslim school. I've lived through it anecdotally and empirically. It's a far greater threat than the Jews, who are annoying, I'll grant.
Well, I mean, but what are we talking? Are we talking about Iran? Or are we talking about Jews versus Islam? Because these are two very different things, I think.
Well, I started this by saying, could someone...
Guy, you are literally saying that because gas prices went up for 3 weeks, that it's equivalent to high gas prices over 4 years? For real? They're not even that much higher. Barely. And it's been for just like 2 weeks. Actually, not even 2 weeks. When did it go above the $4 average? That was like 3 days ago. So you're like literally like, oh, well, because Trump has high gas prices for 3 days, that's the equivalent of Joe Biden's ridiculously bad economy for 4 years? That is shockingly stupid. That's not, you can't even do math at that point, dude. You need to go back to school.
Have the view
crazy.
That Iran, because of their specific, by the way, practice of Islam and worldview, that they would need to be, I guess you would say, rendered more impotent, sort of denuclearized. It wasn't about nuclear weapons. It was about them being able to build nuclear weapons and no one being able to stop them. That would be in the interest of the West and really any nation that is not Islamic or wants to be subjugated to Islam. Could someone hold that view and them not be holding that view just because it was propagated by the Jews? A huge contingency say, no, you're just believing what the Jewish lobby has told you, and we're doing it for Israel. I think there can be two separate tracks. Israel doesn't want a nuclear Iran. Israel recognizes that Iran is a threat. And so do we, for the same reason, by the way, that Saudi Arabia and the rest of the Islamic world does.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think you can think that, but I don't think there's any way to effectuate that policy without it playing into that larger plan. Like, again, you say, well, I don't think Iran should have a nuclear weapon. Okay, so then we have to bomb them because they're not going to give it up with the deal, so we have to bomb them. Okay, so we're going to bomb them. Well, now they're going to close the strait and they're going to attack Saudi Arabia and the rest of it. Now what do? Well, we got to attack all their drone and missile launch platforms. Well, how do you do that? It's a huge country. They're very cheap, inexpensive weapons, decentralized command system. It's like, so do we now have to invade Iran or do we just walk away and let them have this? You say, well, it's about insurance. Okay, well, Iran will maintain the ability to launch drones at the strait, which is narrow, in perpetuity. So that's going to be a problem in perpetuity. And either we're going to give them the strait and they could charge a toll. There's no other options here. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you can say I'm in favor of attacking Iran for pro-America reasons, but there's no way that goes other than you're walking down the road to regime change, which Israel will exacerbate. They will accelerate that. That's the only destination it could go toward, in my opinion.
The only destination it could go toward is Israel accelerating regime change.
Yeah, well, and just the whole the ladder of escalation for the tactical reasons I just described. Like, in other words, there's no way to easily hit their nukes. And that, like last year, they said, "Oh, double tap, we're going to hit the nukes."
That is correct, Christopher. They literally admitted that they were making weapons-grade uranium. I mean, it's all over the place. You can see videos of them doing it. Iran wasn't shy about this at all. They were very happy to announce that they were making nuclear weapons. I don't know why people are pretending like that didn't happen.
Then it's all over. Okay, but what happens? They start digging the nukes out. So what do we do now? We got to bomb them again. Okay, well,
So what's the alternative?
The alternative is, again, why is Iran pursuing a nuclear weapon? It is to hedge against Israel. I think we have to restrain Israel and give Iran assurances we won't attack them. And then they might agree that they don't need a strategic capability like that. I think that's the only way.
So tell me how that looks. You said restrain Israel and then Iran wouldn't pursue nukes. Please tell me how that looks.
We have to tell Israel that if they continue to provoke Iran or confront Iran or derail negotiations, which they did last year, then we will revoke their foreign aid. We will intervene, maybe in their elections even for that matter, which we have the power to do. We'll, like, look at Netanyahu. Netanyahu, at various times, it looks like he might have lost American support, and that made him less popular. So you could say, look, listen, Mr. Prime Minister, America is going to lean on you in every way that we can, economically, militarily, in terms of foreign aid, in public diplomacy. Stay out of this. And then we could go to Iran and say, look, we're able to tell Israel no. Now we can have something like the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. I thought that was a good deal, where you'll have sanctions relief, we'll have monitoring, we'll have verification, Russia can be a signatory, and we're going to make sure that you have a peaceful nuclear program. And then one day they'll be integrated into collective security in the region. We don't
No, Joe Biden did not add any jobs. He gave people's jobs back after the lockdowns. That's not adding jobs. That's not what that is, dude. Why would you lie about that, Adam? That's very disingenuous of you. Joe Biden didn't add any jobs to the economy whatsoever. He gave jobs back after the lockdowns. You're going to count that as job growth? That's a psychotic thing to do, dude.
have to worry about them. That's what that looks like.
You really think that Iran would be integrated into the collective security of the region? Do you actually believe that?
It was happening in 2023. China brokered a rapprochement between Saudi Arabia and Iran, 100%.
Yeah. Historically, here's my position, to sort of take an extreme version of the position. I think if Israel didn't exist tomorrow, now maybe it wouldn't necessarily be Iran as we know it, because these countries that basically live, if you were to give the world an enema, that's where you'd stick the hose. They war against each other. You can do the 7th century, 8th century, every single century, up until and including the modern advent of Israel. I think if Israel didn't exist tomorrow, the current Iran as we know it would still not play ball and probably get a nuke to hedge against the Sunni world, places like Saudi Arabia. There are entire documentaries on how much they've hated each other. And by the way, they'll make deals and break them tomorrow. And I still think that they would view us as a giant devil. It doesn't mean that militarily the strategy has been correct. That's why I said give us 3 months or give me 3 months before I form an opinion. I think there's a world in which it makes sense if it's short, effective.
If I remember right, the gas in the UK is about $12 a gallon right now, I think.
And decisive. If it's not, then I think it's a mistake. But it has nothing to do with Israel has told you that Iran is a threat. And that's a purity test. I say this because I know you've run up against it. But I run up against it too, where I go, you know what? I don't want a nuclear Iran. And I think that if people believe the Islamic world would not be seeing the West as a threat and would not be trying to outpopulate us, to subjugate us, if not for Israel, is a pipe dream, and it ignores all of human history. And that gets shut down when people go, well, you're not America first, because actually the Jews are a problem and not Islam. I think Islam is still one of the greatest threats to the Western world. And I think that Iran's a big part of that. And as to whether this is effective remains to be seen. I'm not a supporter.
It's not as expensive as I thought. It's $9.64 a gallon. It's pretty high. Pretty crazy high.
Order of it. I said, I got to wait 3 months to see because there's information I can't know. But it has nothing to do with the Jews.
Well, it has everything to do with them, because Israel got a nuclear weapon first. Israel initiated the arms race in the Middle East. They got their nuke. Then Iraq got their nuclear reactor. So what did Israel do? They bombed Iraq. And then Iraq put their nuclear program underground. Then we had to invade in 1990. Syria had a nuclear program. What did Israel do? They bombed their reactor in 2007. Like, Israel, let's just be honest, they are the revisionist power in the Middle East. Their doctrine is to destabilize and destroy all their neighbors.
Again, the problem is Trump has only ever said Iran cannot have a nuke. He didn't say Iraq. He didn't say Syria. He didn't say Lebanon. He didn't do any of that. And here's the thing. If Trump goes after any other country over this, I will criticize him for it 1,000,000%. But he did say Iran, and he did absolutely have 47 years of absolute consistent, like, I will not allow Iran to do this. Now, under Trump's nuclear deal, they wouldn't have done this, and they never would have done it. That's why they didn't do it from 2016 to 2020. Then Biden went ahead and was like, oh, I'm going to get rid of that. And then Iran was like, all right, now we're making 60% grade uranium. And for those who don't realize that, it's literally Yes, Iranian negotiators have directly admitted to possessing significant quantities of 60% enriched uranium. During nuclear negotiations, Iran representatives informed U.S. negotiators that they controlled about 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium and acknowledged it could be rapidly refined into weapons-grade 90% purity for nuclear bombs. I mean, that's just a fact. And they were bragging about it because they had Obama's nuclear deal again. They were literally bragging about it because of that, and they thought we weren't going to do anything about it. And then we did do something about it. Uh-oh. That's funny.
This goes back to the 1980s. Oded Yunon's plan for Israel. They want to say what they call it. It's a mosaic of tribes with flags. They want to basically destroy all the big, strong states so they can't military.
Adam, I got a question for you. When all of this is wrapped up and done, when all this Iran stuff is wrapped up and done, are you going to come back here and apologize? I'm really genuinely curious. Or are you going to sit there and still pine over Biden being the greatest president in the world to you? I'm just really curious, man.
Really challenge Israel. It is in the context.
We're in a war with no end, so when it ends, you will come back and apologize for saying it won't end, right?
Of this environment that Iran realizes they're next. Iraq fell,
Trump was
Libya
never
fell,
convicted.
Syria fell, Egypt had a
It never
coup.
happened.
Iran says we're next on the chopping block. It's even in the clean break memo. So they say, how do we hedge against a nuclear Israel? Missiles, proxies, a nuclear hedge, centrifuges.
And being one of the biggest funder of global terrorism across the entire globe, not
Saudi
just
Arabia, closest ally, Saudi Arabia, is responsible for the Wahhabist ideology that inspired ISIS and Al Qaeda. You know,
You're not going to get me to say that I love Saudi Arabia, but that's one of those enemy of my enemies. And I think people look back at alliances and go, well, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, you have to understand that it made sense in the moment. So I go back to the restraining of Israel would include what? Because here's the thing, that would require serious military intervention, right? So would you advocate serious intervention against Israel? My point is, how do you do that? And then why is Iran no longer a threat?
Right? Political intervention. We have tremendous leverage over Israel that we just simply refuse to use. You know, we provide a substantial percentage of their defense budget. That we provide the security umbrella for.
I got a question. If we cut all that off today, do you think their systems just disappear? For real? Like, Israel can survive without us. If we cut off all ties, they could survive without us. But the thing about it is why would we do that? Why would we lose an ally? Like, for what purpose? Ideologically, they're very similar to the United States, so why would we want to do that? Why push them out onto their own? And then, what, have them become communist or something? Like, what would be the point?
Them. We provide them with all these advanced weapons and parts and everything like that. We have enormous leverage over them, and yet the tail wags the dog. Trump engaged, to his credit, engaged Iran in diplomacy last year, and Netanyahu tried to sabotage it. We announced the diplomacy on April 2nd, and the next day Netanyahu comes out and says, the only deal we will accept is if we blow up Iran's nuclear program. Like, they're derailing it on purpose, and they did that under Obama, they did that under Biden, they did it under Trump 1, and so you need to use the leverage to tell them, look, stay out of this. This is our plan.
It doesn't get rid of the neocons, man. We went through lockdown. Think about this. We went through lockdowns for 2 years, and our economy went down more than anything, and we still didn't get rid of the neocons that way. So, in other words, what you're saying is we have to make Americans suffer even worse to get them to get rid of neocons? No, I'm not for that. That's not going to happen ever. I will never agree to that. The lockdowns were an absolute disaster. It got so many people in the worst possible positions of their lives and made this country overall worse. And I don't know that we'll ever recover from that. So no, we cannot ever in a million years, allow the Democrats to win again. We cannot do that. Every time they win, they make the country worse. Every time we win, we barely make the country better. But barely making the country better over the course of decades is much better than keep making the country worse. I don't know why anybody would keep voting like, let's keep making the country worse. Let's keep making it worse and worse and worse. Let's get rid of all our jobs in America. Let's get rid of all our factories in America. Let's let all these illegals in and come in and take the labor force from us so that Americans just genuinely suffer more and more and more. Yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea. I will never agree to go back to that. Ever in a million years. And anybody who is advocating for that to happen hates Americans and wants America to suffer.
We're
That's
America. And then, yes, I think that if you could build trust with Iran, then you could achieve something like the JCPOA, and then we wouldn't have to go to war. The alternative is we have to have regime change in Iran. That's it.
So to be clear, my mic's not working. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Oh, sorry.
There we go.
The whole time I was like, oh, hold on. So I don't know if that. What were you doing there, Billy? Did you fall asleep? Did you pull a Halloween 2 and run the steering wheel?
Ooh, what soundboard is he using? Hold on.
War.
Did you pull a Halloween 2?
What are you using here? What is he using? What the heck? Is that like a task cam or something? What is that? I've never seen that board. That is a weird looking board. What is this board? Look at this, guys. What the heck is that? Why would you have a board like that to control your gain levels and whatnot? That's an interesting looking board, but it's like a big old soundboard or something. Did Road make that? I doubt it was Road. Oh, he's wearing a Ghost t-shirt back here too. Nice. Okay. That guy, look at this dude. Wearing a Ghost t-shirt. Not too bad. They're an okay band. I don't mind Ghost. I like them a bit. That is a weird board. I've never seen that before.
Running the steering wheel. So going back to the point that you were making was, okay, we restrain Israel. So you believe that, for example, and this is, hey, something that I think in case can be made geopolitically, if we restrain Israel. By the way, I'm all for ending the $3 billion, $3+ billion, I know it's 3.8. All for ending that period. I think now I do think it should be an ad hoc basis, just like we have other nations. If there's something that's worthwhile to us, we go, okay, we'll pay you. You know, it's a contractor versus actually having an employee, to use the analogy. But if you believe that we did that, you think the JCPOA would work? Because I definitely think that was a disaster. I think it didn't work, and I actually do think that blockading their entire oil export machine, their navy being destroyed, is a big piece of leverage to get Iran to at least come to the table when they never were. I still don't think the JCPOA would be something that could be tenable.
Oh, what kind of music do I like from the 60s, 70s, and 80s? Let's save that for right after this video here, because I think we're about done. We have 28, let's see. We have about 10 minutes left, a little less than that. I'm going to go ahead and speed this right back up to kind of get through this now, because I'm running out of time here.
Why not? I mean, what about it was a disaster?
Primarily that you're dealing with Iran. They lie as easily as they lie as easily as they breathe. It's because of an ideology, regardless of Israel. But to go back to the point of view, would you vote for someone who goes, could someone, for example, when we're talking about 2028, and this goes back to that, could someone line up with you on every single other thing, but have supported the military action in Iran?
The Epstein files did not say any of that, Adam. You could pull them up though. Tell us what page and what section. I'll pull it up right here.
And get your vote.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Even
not.
if they support defunding Israel, doing away with AIPAC, closing up the border, complete deportation, shutting down H-1Bs, would you vote for like a democratic socialist like Bernie Sanders, but he's against the war in Iran, and he talks a lot about global Jewry, or would you vote for the person who is American?
He did not die being proven wrong. He actually proved the entire left wrong. That's exactly what he did. He literally said, hey, we should be peaceful and talk, and the left were like, nope, we're violent lunatics. We don't care. You know, the left proved that they are absolutely unhinged, they are psychotic, and they don't care about reality. They will kill you if you don't accept their falsehoods. That's what the left proved.
First to the right on all issues, including immigration, including labor, including tariffs, including social issues, but he supported the war in Iran, and as far as he goes, there's no more funding for Israel. Who would you vote for?
That's a pretty extreme hypothetical.
It is an extreme hypothetical.
But
what matters to you more?
I don't know. But
okay.
What I would say, I don't know that here's the thing. I can't support somebody that supported the war in Iran because, and here's the big picture about it. What is actually the end game here? You can't say, well, if Israel doesn't exist, Israel does exist, and they have existed, and they have nukes. And that is the central, they have an undeclared nuclear arsenal, and that is really at the center of this. And again, Israel has a foreign policy they've engaged in for a very long time of destabilizing and destroying all their neighbors with the help of the United States, with the influence of the Israel lobby in the United States. So you can't say like, well, if Israel didn't exist and if this and if that. Israel's plan is to use the United States to topple Iran. Why? So that they are uncontested in the region. They don't want any rivals. Why? So that they can dominate. This is like big picture geopolitics. This is the center of the world island. Okay, you have Europe, Asia, Africa. This is where all the world's resources are. All the commerce is going to.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene's also a liar. She said that she was wanting to deport illegals, and then she came out and was like, oh, but I like the illegals that work for my construction company, so we can't deport them all. So, I mean, come on. You're going to trust that? Provide proof or, don't say anything. That's the whole point. And I can't stand it when these Candace type people come out and go, hey, this happened. I can't provide proof, though.
Go through that rimland area through the Middle East, the Red Sea, the Persian Gulf, and then overland through the Middle East. They're going to control all of that. They're going to have hegemony over that, over the Arabian Peninsula. That will make them something like a superpower. I know that sounds crazy to say.
No, it doesn't sound crazy. It doesn't sound crazy. I don't deny that Israel has their own selfish interest. And by the way, I think you're misrepresenting my view. I was making the point where I was saying, even if Israel didn't exist, I think you still have to deal with the problem of Islam, its encroachment, and its expansion. And I think that Iran is one of the most radical actors in that respect. I do want to go to chat, but here's my question, because we started this off with, okay, the common enemy. And I appreciate, by the way, you said, I don't know. Because a lot of people would go, well, they will equivocate. I'm thinking of running.
At least Steven Crowder had to acknowledge that, too. See, that's the point. He says, I don't know, but then he followed it up with a but, and that kind of, I don't know. For me, Fuentes is not being fully honest about it, but at least he did say he didn't know. That's at least on record, and, that's what it starts off being. He conceded some ground on it, at least.
For office, okay? I'm thinking of running for office, and I can't stand the Mitt Romneys and the John McCains of the world. All right. Now, I understand we live in a two-party system, and we need to have coalitions. We need to have voting blocks if we want to win the country. So you have to have all this base that have already voted Republican, conservatives right across the board. And we know boomers, okay, people make fun of them, but they outvote Gen Z by a significant margin, certainly millennials. Okay, so my stance is, let's say it's me. All right, shut down the border, mass deportations, build the wall immediately, completely shut down H-1Bs. I'd put $500,000 fee on it in case someone's bringing in the next Elon Musk or Nikolai Tesla from El Salvador, for God's sakes. I don't know, something that wouldn't affect a multi-million-dollar salary. Of course, we continue with the Supreme Court. I'd enable states to have more authorities that deals with abortion restrictions. So I don't know how much more I could do that at this point. Tariffs on certainly industries are taking advantage of us so that they are reciprocal. I would do my best to onshore jobs by basically going the opposite of directions like NAFTA. I'd punish companies that offshore them, incentivize them to onshore them. I'd have tax cuts across the board, but certainly middle-class families.
Ultimate question.
No more foreign lobbying organizations and no more blank check to Israel. And of course, no more money to Ukraine. I would pull us from NATO until everyone meets their payments. But maybe I think that Iran is a threat. Could you vote for me?
And this is the whole point right here. And this is what I've been talking about in chat the whole time, arguing with people in chat with about. You do every single thing, every single groiper wants, except for one issue. And what is the answer?
Well, again, it's like, do you think Iran is a threat?
That's a very realistic candidate. Could you vote for me?
Okay,
could you be a part of my coalition?
Here's the problem. You go to war with Iran. What does that mean? You say, well, we'll give them 3 months. It's like,
it means we bomb them and then they, take a big old loss. What do you mean?
How are we going to win this one? Gas prices are $5, $6 a gallon. Strait of Hormuz is closed. Israel is chomping at the bit for us to reignite the war and expand it. It's like, are we getting into another Iraq? Are we invading Iran? Are we nuking Iran?
I'm asking you all those other things. In other words, no candidate is perfect. You've bitched about the purity test a lot lately. Let's reduce it.
Is that purity to say I don't want to war with Iran?
I supported the military intervention in Iran. So all those other things. There's a Democrat who's to the left on all those other things, but was vehemently against Iran. Could you vote for me? Could you be a part of my coalition if I want to take back the White House?
See, I don't know what the value of the thought experiment is. A war with Iran is not a purity spiral.
I'm trying to figure out what matters most, because candidates who may magically appear need to know what the purity test is for 2028, because we still don't have a name or description. Well, I'm saying someone like me, I should meet the purity test, except for, you know what? I'll give it 3 months in Iran. But everything else.
Okay.
Would you vote for me?
Then that's assuming, again, that you can bomb Iran and then walk away. We're going to bomb Iran a little bit, but not like, is that what's happening? No, we're stuck.
Could you vote for me?
No, I can't. Okay. I need America first.
Okay.
There you go. And it's not America first. Everything Steven Crowder just said was America first. Every single last detail. Attacking Iran is not anything American second. Not even close. It's actually very America first to do that. That's the funny thing about it. So at the end of the day, we now see that Nick Fuentes is absolutely 1,000,000% only a single single issue voter. Just no war with Iran. Doesn't matter what it is. So therefore, if a Democrat comes in and goes, I will destroy this entire country, but I promise we won't go to war with Iran, he'd be like, I will vote for that. And that's all anybody needs to know about Nick Fuentes right there. He literally cannot vote for anybody who would go to war with Iran. He would vote for the Democrat who refuses to go to war with Iran if it means that we can destroy our entire company.
And America first means we're not at war with Iran and we're not importing 1 million illegals every year.
I got it. That's fair. I understand. Hey, listen, we have a difference of opinion. It's not the deal.
He didn't say he thought it was worth it for people to die for the Second Amendment. That's not what happened, Adam. He said, when you have weapons, you will have death. That's the same thing with knives. You know that, right? As long as knives are legal in America, people will die to knife. Guess what? As long as vehicles are legal in America, people will die from vehicles. He didn't say it was worth it. He said it will happen. Why would you lie like that, Adam? Okay? Hey, Adam, if you're going to continue to lie in chat, though, I am going to ban you. Okay? You need to stop. I'm letting you know now. Cut it out, or just leave the channel permanently.
Breaker for me in the same way that it is to you. But I understand where we went up. Can we take some chats, and can you tell people where the best place is to reach you while we're here at Mass Public? And
yes.
Hopefully this is still, I know it got more intense, but respect. Also, I'll issue one correction. I was corrected by a friend who raises horses. It's champing at the bit, and I was saying that for years because champing.
It's interchangeable.
He's a horse guy. He said it's not, but he was like, it drives me nuts when you say champing.
I investigated this years ago.
Did you? Yeah. So did I, but he swears by it. So okay, all right, I can go both ways. I don't really care. As long as we both agree that we publicly execute anyone who says irregardless.
Yes.
Perfect. Best place for people to find you, Nick, and then we'll take some chat.
Rumble.com/NickJFuentes and X.com/NickJFuentes.
All right, and if people want to continue and you want to send Nick your chats, you can right there click that button, join Rumble Premium, which by the way allows for you to...
It's for Rumble only. I should have pulled this up on Rumble. Sorry, guys. But I do have to get off here now. I do got to help with the kids here. Mom is very exhausted. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, this is a good Saturday to live stream and stuff. You guys are amazing. Thank you all so much for being here. But yeah, I should have probably banned that guy a long time ago in general, just simply because like it did derail the live stream, and I'm sorry for that. I tried to be understanding and was like, you know what, I just won't ban the guy. You know what I mean? But that's one of those things to where when they're so full of attention, and I kind of got to pay. I'm new to this. I'm new to having a big live stream chat in general. And oh, hello, buddy. What are you? Hey, I know you want me to take you outside. That's gonna have to wait for a bit, buddy. I'm sorry. It's gonna be a little bit before I get him outside. But yeah, for real, I shouldn't have let it do that. But like I said, I'm new to this. I'm new to this whole thing, and I'm trying to get my stride. We're one of these days I'll have a good flowing show. I need to get time to research how to make this show a lot more flowy and all that. Probably need to get a better camera and better desk setup and stuff. One of these days we'll get it all good and figured out and whatnot, Good talk. Well, be well and be safe. Thank you so much, River Girl. Thank you guys so much. But before I do go, though, I do need to, need to read out all these super chats here. Everyone that did this. I'm going to save MTX for last, by the way. He did so much. So, Polypuree for the 5. Civic Noble for the 5. MTX, I'm going to have to add all yours up in my head after all this. Desert Sunset for 5. Summer Duggan for 10. Barely Protestant for 5. And Chris Chan here for 5. Then MTX here, we have 10, 15, 20. And MTX for 22. Thank you so much. And then Chels Hopper sneaks in with the last one. All right, at least I think it'll be the last one. You never know. But yeah, Chels Hopper here for 20. You do great. Keep it up. Thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you. Very kind of you. Thank you. I'm very self-conscious about what I'm doing here because I've got an audience now, and I'm like, I gotta not screw this up, So I do put a lot of pressure on myself, and it's not a bad thing. I want to be as good as I possibly can. I want to improve. I need to look up stuff and do better. Or I need to get a soundboard. I need to get things set up in a different way because everything in here is set up for music. You know what I mean? Everything is set up for music. And I probably really need to get a better setup for just this type of podcast. One of these days, I'll figure something out for sure. And hopefully it's very, very, very soon. Thank you all so much for being here. Genuinely, it is such a refreshing experience to have so many people in here that are just genuinely so nice. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you all here in the next one. Later. Hooper. Oh, my bad. Hooper. Sorry about that. Chels Hooper. I keep saying Hopper. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Chels Hooper. And okay. Now I'll see you guys in the next one. Later. I just didn't want to get that wrong. And, oh, good Lord. Y'all aren't going to let me leave, are you? Rachel Wellington for 20. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. For real. I'm closing it out now. Thank you guys so much for being kind. Rachel, you are amazing coming in clutch there. And okay. See y'all later. Bye.